She a little freak, she on me. Yeah, she freak. She a little freak, she for the streets. 6 digits on the check, took it to the bank. Commas after commas, make it boil. Got a 10 coming over, only me to thank. Shooting blanks on a blank, make a girl. My wrist ain't peasy, pros can't please me, sounding too easy. I'm a stay creamy, pocket so dreamy. Shawty wanna freak me, okay. She freak, she a little freak, she on me. Yeah, she freak, she a little freak, she for the streets. She freak, she a little freak, she on me. Yeah, she freak, she a little freak, she for the streets. Neck got green rocks, Frankenstein. Makes sense and none at the same time. You MC squared, I'm Einstein. I'm the new Johnny Cash, well, waterline. Of course, my boys gon' stay this rich. Miami chillin', got a Will like Smith. Visa card maxed out, brand new fish. And my dick got her cheesing cause I'm semi-Swiss. Off the aphrodisiac, rhino. Head game crazy, she a goddamn psycho. No FaceTime sex, it's a slideshow. 10 toes down, got me dodging all the 5-0. She fit like Cinderella pumpkin. Come on over, baby, home alone like Mr. Cocaine. King Cobra, way I'm bulking. Popping out a sweat at the gym, got your shawty convulsing. She a little freak, she on me. Yeah, she freak. She a little freak, she for the streets. She freak. She a little freak, she on me. Yeah, she freak. She a little freak, she for the streets. Blow me down like a wind force gale. Her ship left, boy, that shit sail. Don't talk money, I read it well. Baby so krill like I'm no whale. She aching on my clay with her hands like it's pottery. I'm freaky, think I love her, yeah, I might need a lobotomy. Swallow me, gobble me, all of me. Poseidon in the pussy got me feeling like the oddest. Feeling like I'm 50 Cent in a candy shop. Now she tryna lick my lollipop. Got pussy on my tongue and it costs a lot. You might talk the talk, but I walk the walk. I'm on pink coupe like Anderson. 35 mil this year, West Banderson. RuneScaping on these hoes, got Adam here, F-R-E-A-K. I'm abstinent.
My equilibrium's all thrown off.
She freak, she a little freak, she on me. Yeah, she freak, she a little freak, she for the streets. She freak, she a little freak, she on me. Yeah, she freak, she a little freak, she for the streets. She for the streets.
Well, I hope everybody's having a fantastic evening and or day so far. Welcome to the super secret late night after hours stream. Oh, I missed one. Chill stream. Chill. That's the operative term. No actual plan here today. Might watch some vids, might listen to some music, might just hang out here and talk to chat. We'll see how that goes. Well, okay, chat. Well, I'm not even gonna do my usual stick here, or shtick, excuse me. I'm just gonna hang out here. Let's watch this video, which just came out, very recently. This is really Doom unrelated, hence the lack of the Doom, start. But yeah, this is from 11 hours ago. I found this to be, like, this is pretty much run-of-the-mill for a Piers Morgan, discussion, if you will. I struggle to call them debates or anything intellectual or academic, but this is a Piers Morgan thing on his YouTube channel from 11 hours ago, where Francesca Fiorentini, good old Frantifa, decided to accept an invite onto this show, where Piers Morgan brought like just a horde of idiots to come talk, which I found fascinating. He's really good at finding like the worst people to come talk. Like, I know he went to school for journalism technically. Like, there's a lot of supposed journalists out there who didn't go to school for journalism, but then you watch Piers Morgan and you're like, I'm not sure school fixes any of it. Oh, good to see you, Bad Lefty, Mo and Noah, absolutely. So yeah, we're just gonna kind of chill, watch this. And you know what? Because it's a super chill, secret, late night stream, I'm just gonna give you all of your support characters here. At least the ones that we have unlocked. And by unlocked, I mean that I've made in my spare time.
First, they said he had no money and couldn't make his bond payments. Now, former President Trump's Truth Social network is valued at $8 billion, and he's started selling Bibles for $60 a time. Why does every legal attack seem to make Teflon Don stronger? The Baltimore Bridge collapse was a disaster, so why do so many people think it's something more sinister? Does it tell us anything about the state of Biden's America that a bridge just collapses like that? And RFK Jr. picks Nicole Shanahan as his running mate.
What a freaking stupid framing from the beginning, right? Like, I don't even know where I want to start with it, but let's just address that one piece of it, right? Like, come on. The bridge was run into by a massive ship, which weighs as much as the Empire State Building. So, yeah, that column of that bridge, didn't withstand that, which is not shocking. And really, it's less of the column and the fact that the if you looked at the video of that shit, like the ship actually did run into the steel frame of it, which is effectively connected from one side all the way to the other. That's how trusses work. And it's just oh god. It's just ridiculous that he's like, God, Biden's America, bridges are just collapsing out of nowhere. The ship was black, though. Man, Bad Lefty makes a good point. Good point. It's a suspect ship that we should all be really, really looking deeply into.
Trump or Biden?
What just happened?
My old friend Meghan Markle has announced an exciting
Your old friend Meghan Markle. Yeah, Meghan loves Piers.
Don't be creepy.
Food. Joining me to debate all this is the Mega Piers pack today, one of the great packs ever assembled. Uncensored regulars Esther Cracker and Ava Santina, host of the Bituation Room, love that, Francesca Fiorentini, and comedian and commentator from the PBD podcast, Vincent Ashana, and the host of the all-new Sage Steele show on YouTube, Sage Steele. Well, welcome to all of you. Great to have you all.
Hello.
Let me start with you, Francesca. Donald Trump. Let's just play a clip of him selling Bibles.
This Bible is the King James Version, and
actually, before we do that, before we get too far, let's go back. Take a look at this motley crew. That, Little Piers here has assembled.
Father documents, yes.
Pause. What are you doing? Go back. Okay. All right, let's figure out who these people are before we get too far into this situation. Okay. Oh shit, I gotta pull up the information for this video because I don't know all these people's names by heart. Is the stream buffering a lot? Oh no. That's not good. Is it buffering? I don't know what's going on. Hold on, let me look what's happening. Hold on, I'm just gonna back it up some more and see what's happening because I can't actually tell from my end. Oh wow, I see exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, it's really, really bad. What in the hell is going on? What is even open right now? I feel like I've closed everything off. Hold on. For fuck's sake. I'm being shadow banned. One's in chat if it's looking better for you now, if it's like not lagging as much. I think I fixed it. I was just talking that whole time, by the way, which is super fun for me. But yeah, just let me know if it's better. I'm pretty sure it's better. Can anybody hear me? Alright, I'm just gonna assume that it's better, as it appears to be better. Now let's do a little bit of research on the situation. It's better so far? That's good. That is good. One, maybe? Right, yeah, I get it. I get it. You're not sure. We will see shortly. I just gotta do this. I mean, as long as the planet, as long as like the Earth is not lagging as it goes by the window there, that should be a good sign. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Okay, by the way, in order, from the left, top left, that is Esther Crackyu, who is apparently a British commentator. I'm very much unfamiliar with her, but she is on, I believe she's currently on Talk TV, which is kind of like, I would say it's a slightly right-wing sort of, what do you call it? I want to call it like a tabloid, but that's not really what it is, because it's like a live thing. I just can't think of what to call it, but it's very much, you know, not the most serious place. And then, of course, we all know Piers. This lady on the right-hand top corner is a woman by the name of Ava Santina, who there's almost zero information about online. She appears to have like 20,000 Instagram followers, and I don't know what her background is in any way, really. I've looked at her. I've looked at her Insta a little bit. It just seems to be like a pretty normal Insta. She does appear to be some kind of a pundit who does talk shows, but beyond that, I just don't understand. I don't really understand who she is whatsoever. It is a super secret late night stream. That's right, my dogs. That's right. Okay. Then, of course, we all know Francesca, And if you don't know, Francesca went to New York University, where she studied feminist theory and colonial studies. And her thesis was entitled Ideas for Action in Post-Colonial Feminism. The man in the middle here, beneath Piers Morgan, making a pooping face, or something like that, I'm holding back a fart face. This individual is Vincent Oshana, who is, I believe, on the PBD. What do you call it? Like the Valuetainment podcast, and is just a comedian. He doesn't appear to have gone to college in any way, or have any sort of academic or any other sorts of credentials, to be perfectly honest. Not to be a dick, but that's just I did the research. There's literally nothing that I can find. And then this woman to Vincent's right is a woman by the name of Sage Steele. Now you'll see she'll say some very off the wall sorts of things and pretend to have a lot of credibility. Unfortunately for her entire career is in sports communications, aka just being a sports anchor, right? She's not a reporter. She's not like a real reporter, you know. She talks to people who throw balls for a living, okay? And she'll make that very apparent with her really bad takes on things. So yeah, I guess let's get into this now.
Donald Trump. Let's just play a clip of him selling Bibles.
This Bible is the King James Version and also includes our founding father documents. Yes, the Constitution, which I'm fighting for every...
By the way, I recently was thinking about this while watching this video, but this whole Trump Bible, this what do you call it? This sort of mashup of the Bible and the Constitution Trump has decided to do is, in somehow, he's managed to, in one swoop, both go against the Bible in multiple ways. I'm trying to think of exactly. I'm trying to think of the different passages that go against this. I'm no biblical scholar, but I do know that there is one in particular that comes to mind, is that let Caesar have what is Caesar's, and some other shit, which they're always, I think like libertarians are always bringing up or something like that. But there's like a bunch of other ones that essentially would frown upon or completely condemn the adding of a government document into the Bible, okay? But then vice versa, he completely also, in this same swoop, goes against the entire premise of the Constitution. Right? And it's a deft move at kind of shitting on everything Republicans supposedly believe in.
Day very hard to keep Americans protected. Also, the Bill of Rights.
So bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them.
Are all part of this. God bless the USA Bible.
Well, making America pray again, Francesca. I mean, nothing ever surprises me about Donald Trump. Known him nearly 20 years. I've got to say, this one did, though. Seeing him as a kind of latter-day presidential preacher was a new first. What did you make of it?
Yeah, he's now a literal Bible salesman, hawking this because he needs the money. But look, I think it's convenient for Donald Trump to have the Bible and the Constitution in one place. Two things he's never read, so he can just ignore them all at once. It's super convenient, but it's not on brand.
Fact is Francesca's just completely right about this. There's no way that Donald Trump has ever read either of those things in entirety.
For me, an on-brand Trump book would be like Twilight plus Mein Kampf.
Ah, yes, give unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Yes, thank you, Bad Lefty. I was struggling to remember the exact quotation.
Like that, he
Mein
would read
Kampf,
it,
come on.
he would love it, he would actually finish it.
Come on, you can't include Mein Kampf.
I mean, his former ex-wife.
I think you can.
But it's not on brand. Like, for me, an on-brand Trump book would be like Twilight plus Mein Kampf. Like that, he
Mein
would read
Kampf,
it,
come on.
he would love it, he would actually finish it.
Come on, you can't include...
It's so true. I mean, Fran is on point with this one. I mean, what? That is totally up Trump's alley.
I mean, his former ex-wife said that he did have it by his bedside, but again, may she rest in peace by Hole 9 at Mar-a-Lago.
Okay, Sage, that's one view. I would imagine you have a rather different view.
Yeah, safe to say yes. Here's the thing. I think the timing certainly isn't a coincidence, and with all the trouble that he's...
By the way, I don't know if you listened to that whole spiel I did on what the people that you have in front of you in terms of what their credentials are. Piers Morgan is like uniquely capable of bringing like a bunch of really unqualified right-wingers in to like like do these sorts of things. I almost want to call it like a barnstorming of sorts. Oh god. Oh yeah, no, there's definitely a lot of great pieces in here. Goth dogs. Not two words. I'm sorry, Bad Lefty. I feel for you, and being in chat jail is terrible.
And whether it's rightful or not, yeah, I think at this point it is smart to pray. Let's open it up and find some good Bible verses and recite them, quote them, whatever it takes. At the end of the day, though, yeah, I happen to agree.
I've never heard Trump recite a single Bible verse or quote the actual Constitution. I've heard him talk about the Constitution, but never actually quote it.
I think that the big picture and some of the things he's spoken about is that that's one of the things that has escaped us here in America over the last several years, not just during the Biden administration. And of course, that stuff has tried to be and successfully erased.
What escaped us? The Bible escaped us? Didn't we go over this yesterday in that 65%? Oh, right, but I almost forgot. Arizona Christian University told us that people who say they're Christian, they're not Christian enough. They're not real Christians. And that's the problem. That's probably what she's trying to get at. That makes sense.
Of our schools, etc. You don't say the Pledge of Allegiance anymore in many public schools. So
why is it so
not?
fucking
and
quiet?
I do think that it does appeal certainly to that more Midwest conservative value group that many people still teetering. Do I go for him or not? Is this going to be the reason why people vote for him? I don't think it would be the deterring or...
Good thing you're a political... Oh, wait, you're not a political commentator. You're a sports broadcaster that probably shouldn't be maybe even talking about this situation.
You know, the convincing factor for me, but it can't hurt at this point. And I happen to believe that he does pray every day, that he does take those...
If you're not picking up on what she's saying, by the way, she's saying that she's genuinely considering voting for Trump for, I guess, Christian values? Is that what she's saying? I'm honestly not entirely sure what her argument here is. It's pretty incoherent.
Versus seriously,
Really?
and that he does believe. I do.
Okay, well, look, I'm going to bring...
It's so funny.
All right, let me bring in Vinny, because I'm not so convinced. And the reason I'm not convinced that the Bible is something Donald Trump wallows in every night is because he was once asked what his favorite passage in the Bible was, and he gave this response.
I'm wondering what one or two of your most favored Bible verses are and why.
I wouldn't want to get into it because to me that's very personal. You know, I think it's just an incredible, the whole Bible is an incredible, I joke very much so. They always hold up the Art of the Deal. I say my second favorite book of all time. But I just think the Bible is just something very special.
Now, personally, The Art of the Deal is one of my all-time favorite books. It's absolutely brilliant. In fact, I read it 3 times in preparation for competing in Celebrity Apprentice.
Ew. Gross. The fact that Piers Morgan could endure reading through Donald Trump's book more than one time, not just more than one time, but 3 times, is I think it tells you a lot about who he is as a person. Like, he genuinely loves terrible shit. You know what I mean? Like, he can get deep into it. Like, if you present him with some garbage, he will lap that garbage up like a garbage pig. I don't know. I just came up. That was a bad. I wasn't prepared for any of this.
ended up winning because I basically ended up talking to Trump as if I was Trump. But Vinny, in relation to his adherence to the Bible and to prayer, do you actually buy it? Do you think Trump prays nightly? Do you think he's wedded to this, or is he wedded more to getting the evangelical vote?
Well, first and foremost, Piers, I want to say thank you for having me. I'm a huge fan. When I found out I was going to be on the show, I called my mother. She was excited. She called the whole
Wow. Imagine being so proud of being invited on Piers Morgan's garbage show that you call your mother to tell her about it. It's blowing my mind a little bit, if I'm being perfectly honest. I mean, granted, I don't know what this guy... He might have a really, really great relationship with his mother, or I don't know what it is, okay? But it confuses me. That's all I'm trying to say here.
family, but she's, she's almost 80. She's kind of losing it. So she called the whole family and told everybody I was going to be on a podcast with Morgan Freeman. So I want to say I'm a huge fan. You were great. You were great playing God and Bruce Almighty. But Piers, on Trump, it's yeah, thank you. So he's a businessman. He built the best economy this country has seen. He's obviously getting attacked. They're election interference, aka cheating. He has to do whatever he has to do.
Oh my God, these people. All these people with like essentially zero credentials, no real formal education, want to somehow claim election fraud with no evidence, but somehow are making massive amounts of money doing so, right? And it's blowing my mind lately. Like, the grift is so huge. It's become like $1 billion business to deny the elections, or just to basically parrot right-wing talking points.
His money because they're trying to bankrupt him because he's a front runner. And I think, guess what? And Sage said it perfectly. This country needs God more than ever. From the sexualization to kids to the crime to everything is away from God, away from God. He's a businessman.
Honestly, I feel bad for Fran. Because, like, I mean, we went through it, like, what all these people's credentials are. She's the most qualified person here to talk about politics, which is what they're supposedly talking about. Although, I would argue it often just... whatever. Let's just keep watching this idiocy.
If he's going to sell Bibles and put the Constitution and wake everybody up and raise money for himself, it's a win-win situation for me.
The Constitution says separation of church and state. Look at his face. That's another fart face. Oh my God, he's holding back a serious fart right now. He's got to poop. Just go poop, dude. If you need to poop, go poop. Right? Like, don't come onto TV with that face. Oh boy. But like, what was I saying? Fuck. Oh, I just totally lost my... Just making fun of his face made me forget everything I was talking about. He was saying something very stupid. I don't know. My point is that none of these people are qualified to really discuss any of this, but somehow are making massive amounts of money to do it. And Fran is the one who should be making the most money. At least she went to school for this kind of stuff.
God's involved. I'm all in.
Okay, Ava, it's a win-win if God's involved. God and Donald Trump, the lethal double act.
Well, it really surprises me actually to hear all of you speaking there, because here we have a real separate church and state. We would never invoke anything quite so evangelical.
Right, that's what thank you. She's one of the people here that is at least mildly cogent and aware of facts. This guy seems to think that the Constitution says that we should endorse a specific religion when it says explicitly the opposite.
It's really surprising for me to hear that people are actually a fan of that. And, you know, when I am a Catholic, and when I think of Donald Trump, I don't particularly think he's the most Christian man. I mean, you know, some of his dabblings with Stormy Daniels or some of the other business deals that he's been involved with, I wouldn't really say that those were, you know, Christian values. And I'm just quite surprised that he's managed to sort of masquerade that personality underneath the guise of the Bible. It's confusing to me.
Well, it is a good point. I mean, Esther, you know, is he someone who lives up to Christian ideals?
Well, I think it's what he is first. He is first and foremost Donald Trump, the businessman. He is the ultimate influencer, and he believes in his own way that his calling.
Is she saying that being a businessman is Christian? Because the Bible says explicitly the opposite. I'm trying to think of what is it? Rich man, a camel, what can pass through the eye? I cannot remember the passage, but I'm pretty sure there's at least a few of them that explicitly say that businessmen and rich people don't get into heaven. So, is she contradicting herself, or she? You know what? Yeah, I think so. But once again, she's not a journalist or an academic or really much of anything. What was it that she does again? Esther Kraku. She's a commentator on Talk TV, which is basically a gossip rag, but on TV.
Is to save America from whatever the Democrats are putting it through. And I think that fits in quite well with a huge part of his base who are evangelical Christians and who are probably not that fussed that, yes, this man couldn't name 2 verses in the Bible if you paid him $1 billion to do so. They're not fussed. They know the character they're dealing with. They know this man has been married multiple times. He was known as a womanizer. This is a man who was glorified, deified in hip-hop culture.
Exactly. Camels, needles, and getting into heaven. Exactly. You get it, chat. Thank you. We don't have to get the quote right to get the idea correct.
He was known to hang out with rappers who are not known for treating women very well. So we know the shtick with Trump. We know that he's not necessarily very pious. But this works because he's going to be bankrupted if he doesn't do something and really...
Well, I don't think he will because of the success of Truth Social, the social media platform, where he's made billions of...
Truth Social, the success of it. Now, first off, let's get into that before we jump into this Truth Social situation. Okay, so Truth Social has generated $5 million in revenue in 2023. $5 million. That's a lot of money. I'm not going to say it's not, but it's not billions of dollars, as Piers Morgan is claiming. However, it is true that Truth Social has gone public, and Trump happens to have a great deal of stock in that company. But in no way is the valuation at all one of reasonableness, one that is equitably quantified. It is absolute nonsense valuations. And the fact is I think somebody brings it up in here that he doesn't need money. I can't remember if it's here or somewhere else. I'm might be combining videos in my head. It's not the first time it would have happened. But the stock that Trump has is locked up for the next 6 months, according to the legal documentation of Truth Social. So he's going to have to find another way to pay for that, all these bonds and other sorts of judgments that he has against him. Now, I will say this, banks may very well decide to lend against that stock, which may very well wind up covering his ass. We'll see how that goes. But I think it's just an important note to make, because it's not going to save him immediately, that's for sure, unless a bank decides to take him at face value and a number of other things, which I think most banks don't really want to do at this moment, considering his current and past situations. All right, Max.
Dollars literally in the last 36 hours. I mean, Francesca, it does seem to me the harder the left go at Trump, the more they martyr him, one, and he transforms the martyrdom.
Yeah, BCAT is absolutely right. It's the valuation is not reflective of the money that he's making, but of the cult-like nature of Trump's branding.
Into empowerment, and it makes him stronger and more electable. So my question for the left is, why do it? Why have this strategy of constantly trying to stab him in the back or the chest, when all it seems to do is help?
Oh my God. Piers Morgan, the supposed journalist, is asking the question, why do people on the left keep bringing up the bad stuff that Trump's doing when his base likes it? Well, because that's what journalism is, idiot. Or have you forgotten? Granted, Piers is getting kind of old. I think he's in his 60s now, or he's approaching his 60s. I think he's probably very close to it. I'm trying to remember. He might be like 59. So it's been a few decades since he was in college. But man, it just seems like he's forgetting what journalism is supposed to be, which is challenging the powerful and exposing the truth, rather than selectively kowtowing to different people based upon how much you think it's going to line your pockets or get you clicks.
I don't know what you're asking me to do, Piers. I don't know if you want me to like applaud a little baby for selling a book that he's never read any part of. He said he doesn't have a favorite Bible passage because he hasn't read the Bible. We all know this. That's a classic I didn't read the book report answer. And he's done this forever. You also know he doesn't pray because remember when he was president and the first time a bunch of pastors and different religious leaders put their hands on him and he made his duck face? Praying. This is like a 3-year-old at dinner being like, thank you, God, for my Legos. Like, we know that face. I mean...
Oh my God, I love Francesca. She is hilarious. Choking on ashes? Good to see you. Good to see you. You found our secret late night after hours chill stream. Well done.
Like, again, he gets special treatment from literally everyone. We just saw his bond reduced to $175 million, down from $454 million. And Piers, on that point that you made, which is a good one, right? Hey, Truth Social's now public, worth, $8 billion. Isn't that incredible? Don't we see what's actually happening right before our very eyes? The thing that he actually got nabbed for in New York, overinflating his assets, is going on right now with Truth Social. According to a lot of financial experts, they're saying Truth Social in no way is worth what...
The only problem is that overinflating assets is basically the premise of the stock market.
$8 billion is completely overvaluated, and he's getting away with it. And I'm so sorry to the working men and women who shell out their money to buy the stupid Bible, the stupid coin, the sneakers, these rubes who spend their hard-earned money because we can't get a livable wage in this country to bow down to their so-called Jesus King, Donald Trump. I mean, I hope there is a God so that he eventually speaks to them and says, this ain't your boy.
Vinny,
if only.
Let me ask you about two...
If only. Where is God at? Come on, God.
Comments about all this. One was the Biden campaign who said he spent Donald Trump
she really is
weekend
refreshing.
Golfing the morning.
It is nice. Like, to be honest, though, it's a little bit... Like, for instance, like listening to this for the first time, like, hurt my brain. Because it's mostly just listening to this a group of idiots minus her and this what's her name again, Ava, because Ava says mostly smart stuff, not entirely smart stuff, but mostly smart stuff. But the rest of these idiots are just it's like 45 minutes of pain. Troth essential.
Himself to Jesus, and the afternoon lying about having money he definitely doesn't have. And then Bill Clinton's Labor Secretary, Robert Reich, said on X whether he has an actual Messiah complex or is just conning his supporters. He's playing to a growing GOP faction that wants America to be white Christian nationalist state with Donald Trump as divine ruler. Your thoughts?
Piers, let's just be honest with each other from the beginning. Everything from the New York thing to everything that we've gotten to this point, they call it election meddling. All that we're talking about, everything that we got to this.
Why did he need quotes? Because he doesn't have any actual sort of like, I feel like what quotes are at this point in life, right? They're used by two groups of people. People who are actually quoting things, or people who don't have any argument against the thing they're talking about that they clearly don't like. And so he just says election interference, finger quotes, because he's not entirely sure what that means. Okay, he's heard people talk about it, and people who have said it, he really respects people like, Donald Trump and Roger Stone or Steve Bannon. Those are the kinds of guys this guy's a big fan of, and they're saying it's election fraud. So, but he's got to get in there.
Point to your other guest saying, he thinks this, he hasn't read this. Let's just be honest. From 2016, the Obama administration was spying on Trump's campaign, to Hillary Clinton with the DNC and all the Russian collusion, to all the fake impeachments, to 2020, FBI at Twitter.
The fake impeachments. The impeachments that actually went through, he means. And then, I don't know if you heard this recently, but I think the Republicans have given up on impeaching Biden. That's what I heard recently. So, if anybody wants to talk about fake impeachments, I think it should be us.
All these stories, I think 60% of Americans wouldn't have voted for Biden if the truth was coming out. Now we're in 2024. All this.
The truth that he's talking about is the Hunter Biden dick pics, right? That's the truth that they keep talking about. If people had known about Hunter Biden's dick pics, well, they wouldn't have voted for Biden. Good God, this guy's brilliant.
Jesus, I say that.
Fake. Mar-a-Lago's not worth 18. By the way, I've been to Mar-a-Lago. I was in a room that was worth more than $18 million. So it's all.
I've been there, and it's definitely worth more than 18 million. I completely agree.
Yeah, and Piers, and here's the point, Piers. What else is this guy supposed to do? They hate him because he loves America. He's been saying it since the 80s. Everybody loved him. He was never racist. Now every single thing that
I don't even know which one of those things to go at. He's mostly just saying fake shit or just stuff that he wants to be true. Am I wrong, or is every time that I pause this it looks like he's farting or pooping? I'm sorry, but we got to take a closer look at this. Hold on. This is getting serious. Wait, where did that go? There it is. Like, am I losing my mind? Or does he look like he's farting right now? Or, like, ready to poop? Like, you can't tell me. Yeah, oh my God. This man, I don't know why he couldn't have just gone beforehand. It's a little disturbing. You can't tell me that he's not wearing a diaper and he's not actively pooping his pants right now. I'm just saying, Chad. Look at what I'm looking at. Are we looking at the same thing? This man is clearly actively pooping while talking on this stream. He needs more fiber. I don't know what it is. I'm not a doctor.
If he ran into a burning building, Piers, I'm being dead serious, and he saved 5 black children, 6 Mexican children, and 8 Asians, you know what they'd say? Why didn't you save more black people? You're racist. That's what we've come to.
Look at this. This lady is nodding right now. She's like, yep, that's right. Everybody's like, yeah, that's totally right. And I'm just thinking to myself, what? Who is gonna say that? That's patently false and has no basis in reality. Like, I can't think of a single person who would be doing that. Like I'm going through the list of streamers that I know that they would all call, the woke culturalists that, are ruining society. But I can't imagine a single one of them saying, oh, he didn't save enough black people. What? And why this woman here is nodding her head over here with her sports degree? It's boggling my mind. She's smiling too, and Piers is like, yeah, he's totally right. Yeah. Oh my God, so based.
Don't be creepy.
That's what we've come to. And the guy is trying to raise money because they're trying to take everything from him, Piers.
You know,
But guess what?
my
They're
thing about
slowing him
Trump
down.
is...
You're not going to stop Trump.
Yeah, my thing about Trump...
What? What are you saying? They're trying to take everything from it. Oh, he's never done anything wrong. He's right. I'm just stupid. Why am I... We gotta give Trump more credit.
I did everything right and they indicted me.
We're being too hard on him. That's what it is. We're just taking out our frustrations on a man who's never done anything wrong.
Illegal.
There's plenty of stuff you can go at Trump about completely legitimately. He says stuff every day that you can legitimately criticize him about, or at least confront him about. It's the way the left, for some unfathomable reason, think that massively exaggerating, and I come back again, I've said this a few times, but the day after he won in 2016, I met Chris Rock by chance at the New York Knicks in the VIP bit where we were eating food. And he's on the next table. And I said, why do you think Trump won? He went, you know why? Because if someone's killed 10 people, don't go around saying they've killed 11. In other words, don't exaggerate how bad somebody is. If there's plenty of stuff to go...
I mean, yeah, some people have exaggerated at some points. I would point out, like, maybe Rachel Maddow. But the point is that you don't have to exaggerate with Trump. It's all crazy. And maybe some people have gotten some numbers wrong at some time. Yeah, okay. Who hasn't out there in this space? The point is that the list is so fucking long that making stuff up, it doesn't even sound made up anymore, because it all I feel like at this point, if you started asking AI to start making up things that Trump has done that he hasn't done, and you just waited 10 years, half of them would just come true anyways.
Don't exaggerate. Obviously, I'm not saying he's killed anyone, but the principle...
But Piers, who is the left in your opinion?
Sorry?
But I don't understand. Like, he's got 91 criminal indictments. Do you think the courts in the United States are run by the left?
Pretty much.
They just reduced
I don't.
The courts are run by the left, including all of the courts where Donald Trump appointed judges. Now, how many judges did Donald Trump appoint again? Look it up. Trump made 245 judicial appointments. 245. It was the most historical judicial appointments made by presidents between 1933 and 2021. I believe. I think that's what it's saying here. But at least that first thing I said was definitely true. He made 245 judicial appointments of 234. 234 of those were Article 3 judges. So yeah. It sounds like all the courts must be leftists. And I'm just not interpreting that data correctly. Unless maybe Trump was appointing secret leftist judges. Oh God. Oh boy, we've just cracked it open. Trump was in fact appointing leftist judges the whole time.
Jesus, I say that.
They just gave him a 60% discount.
Well, hang on, let me ask you a question.
They gave him a 60% discount off his civil fraud trial.
Francesca, hang on, look, let me just say something. I don't, listen, I'm not conservative. I'm not on the left because I think they've gone woke crazy.
No shit.
I'm kind of in the middle somewhere.
Piers Morgan has literally never been on the left in his entire life, okay? I love how he comes to America and tries to pretend like he's a leftist. This woman up here who is from the UK is kind of smiling to herself right now because she wants to get invited back on the show, but like she knows in Piers Morgan's even more right wing than he is when he's here. At least he's considered that, and it's just hilarious that he continues to kind of put up this facade of like, oh, I'm kind of a centrist, you know. Even though I just love right-wing talking points and ideals and shitting on anybody who's ever said anything leftist, but I'm more of an independent, really, when you look at it, unless you actually look at it.
trying to make sense of all this. I think that with Trump,
The boogeyman, yes, I get
look,
it.
he's facing 91 criminal charges. Do I think they're all valid? No. Do I think the stuff with Stormy Daniels is pathetic to go after an ex-president over that? Yeah, I think it's pathetic.
It is.
And I think most
Wow.
of Middle America does. So when it
Wow.
comes to the election in November, I think they're going to say, why did you
I'm sorry.
victimize this guy?
Wait.
Whereas in fact,
Wait. I'm sorry. What? Did he just say that? I'm sorry, chat, but like I'm broken inside. Did he just say that Stormy Daniels victimized Trump? That's what happened? What? What? Talk about victim blaming. I mean, this is advanced. Like this is like postdoctoral sort of victim blaming type stuff. Piers is at least showing his academic prowess here in that case, because fuck, I was not prepared for that one.
you look at what happened. If you look at the stolen election nonsense and the
He's a
January the
victim.
6th nonsense, there's plenty of stuff to go at Trump about which is legitimate.
Yeah.
But he's going to get lost in the wash.
He's not. Wait. And guess what, Piers? You would think that the
So
left
only
would
some
wake
of
up.
them.
Nothing is working. Nothing is working.
No,
it's
there's
not
the
working.
desperation
It
to
hasn't
be-
worked
the
since 2016.
Let me bring in Sage
It's
on that, because
embarrassing.
Sage, look, I'll tell you another part of this, which is interesting. Rona McDaniel, she obviously ran the RNC.
Hold on one second, chat. I'll be right back. I just gotta grab a drink. My throat is killing me. Here, just hang out by the pool for a second. Okay, I'm back. I've run out of canned tea, so now I'm making tea with my hands like some sort of space peasant. Oh shit, but I left that. Oh my god, I hate myself. Okay, I'm really back this time. Death metal or gangster rap? Are we talking music suddenly in here? Oh, for Americans here, if you had fundy Christians to annoy on Easter morning, what music would you annoy them with most? I love that premise. That's a great premise, Choki. I think she's right. Death metal. Well, no, actually, I wouldn't go death metal. I feel like too many fundy Christians actually like death metal. So definitely gangster rap. And not like mid 90s. Like, you gotta go like current mumble rap. That's me, okay? But if you blast mumble rap or anything that's currently on the radio right now that is for people that aren't fundamental Christians, stuff like that, they would lose their fucking minds. Like, give them some Drake, but not like some new Drake and like some future, and like, but even worse, much worse than that. Like, I'm trying to think, because they're really not mumble rappers. I'm trying to. Part of the problem is I don't listen to that much mumble rap. Like a little Yachty, like a little Uzi Vert, like a little what's his name right now? Oh, fuck. Oh, my dude with the nails. Oh god, I can't think of his name right now. My brain is broken. Lil Nas X. Oh my god. Oh my god, it would be the apocalypse for them. Jericho. Jericho. I'm trying to think of what that is. You want them to understand the words. Okay, okay. Yeah, some Tekashi 6ix9ine. Okay, yep. You definitely throw that in there, in that mix. Okay, back to this this thing.
16.
Let me bring.
I gotta say, I feel like Fran has been everywhere lately. Where have I've seen her like on everything. I feel like I've seen her recently. Let me think. I think she showed up on what, the Majority Report, as well as the Leftist Mafia, and honestly, her husband's been doing really well. Matt. Right? Isn't his name Matt? No, Ben? Oh my god, why can't I think of his name right now? Okay, there's too many short, boring, white man names in the leftist space, okay? It's making it very difficult to keep track of them all, okay? There's at least like 4 Matts, I'm pretty sure. It's like 4 Matts, like at least a couple of Bens. And it would help me out if people would just change their names, just so that I could more easily keep track of them.
Sage on that, because it's Sage. But I tell you another part of this, which is interesting. Rona McDaniel, she obviously ran the RNC, and she was driven out of there because she probably wasn't MAGA enough. And she washes up at NBC, and they're going to make her a pundit. And then after 4 days, she's the victim of this kind of massive onslaught from.
Oh my God! Did you see how upset this woman down here was? What's her name again? Steele something Steele. Esther? No, Sage. Fucking hilarious. Did you see? Watch her face again.
After 4 days, she's the victim of this kind of massive.
Oh, and she like the big hands. She's like, oh my God, Piers is so based. But I think yesterday, was it yesterday? Yeah, it was. Yesterday we went over this situation. We watched all of the different clips available of people supposedly revolting against NBC. You know, you got Chuck Todd and what's his name? Oh, O'Donnell. I can't think of that dummy's name. But like Rachel Maddow, it literally none of them even broke character. Like, you know what I mean? Like, none of them stopped really anything. They basically just kept acting as they always act, and they put in a few words that were critical of NBC. And oh, it's a revolt, everybody. Oh God. Oh, it's a disaster.
Onslaught from NBC and MSNBC on-air talent, and I was watching this going, hang on a second, and she's been fired immediately because she's a Republican who might have the audacity to
that's it. It's not because she subverted democracy. It's just because she's a Republican. There's no Republicans that work at NBC. Wait. Hold on. Wait a second. Am I wrong? Or are there like a dozen Republicans that work as anchors at NBC? Or former Republicans? Morning Joe Scarborough comes to mind. He used to be a Republican congressman, and he's been working at NBC for like 20 years. Lawrence O'Donnell. Thank you, Pat Lefty. Oh my God, you just completed me. Oh, it felt so good. That was beautiful. I appreciate you.
Republican views on air, and the media, the mainstream media in America, is predominantly skewed left. And this is a classic example because I remember MSNBC.
I feel like if you sat down or had an AI like aggregate all of the words that Piers Morgan says, like there'd be no arguing that the man is just ardently like conservative, even though he's always saying, oh, I'm not conservative. It's bullshit. Do you hear the way he frames things? It is nuts. Oh God, the left, they've taken over. The whole world's taken over by the left. We're all done for.
This is from 12 Rules for Life.
She given Jen Psaki a show after she was the White House press secretary. So they're clearly quite happy to take people from partisan political sides, just not on the right. And when you see that happen,
it just has to fit.
When you see that happen, Sage, as Elon Musk has said today, it exposes the bias, and that again plays into Trump's hands. Sage,
it's so blatant.
Oh, it's so blatant, guys. I'm just looking at Joe Scarborough's Wikipedia page. He has been the co-host of Morning Joe on MSNBC since hold on 2007, so 17 long years, very long years. I would say Joe Scarborough's show, Morning Joe, has been one of my least favorite MSNBC shows, and that's saying a lot. But before he was excuse me, hold on, I'm actually gonna do this real quick. Before Joe Scarborough was a political commentator on MSNBC with his own show, what did he do? Well, let's take a look. And holy shit, this guy is such a Tucker Carlson looking motherfucker. Okay, look at this. Look at this picture of him in 1995, where he looks like he has like been living in the shadow of Tucker Carlson, and somehow like the radiation from Tucker got onto him. like he's like some. Oh my God, he just needs the bow tie, and he could probably do like a half decent Tucker Carlson impersonation like gig, to be honest. But yeah, so he was a representative. Where is it? U.S. House of Representatives. As he won as a Republican against a 8-term Democratic incumbent, Earl Hutto. So yeah, Joe Scarborough used to be a Republican congressman, and also really looked like he could have been Tucker Carlson Tucker, he might actually be the Tucker Carlson replacement for Fox that they've been looking for all this time. He's just not crazy enough. That's the problem, you know? He's got real conservative viewpoints, but he just doesn't speak to the white nationalists the same way that Tucker does. That's his problem. That's why he's not making the big bucks. Oh wait, how much is he making over there in MSNBC again? $8 million a year, you say? God damn, that's like Anderson Cooper money. Weird. Super weird. His face looks too small for the rest of his body. Or just for his head. You're kind of right. You're kind of right. Like, he's got a big head but a small face, which is off-putting.
Blatant. It is absolutely so blatant. And it's been fascinating, by the way, to watch Elon Musk kind of evolve since before he bought X to now. And he's like, you know, a lot of people are saying what he says. I've never voted Republican.
Oh my god. This woman, like, she fascinates me. Like, the thing is like, I hate to just give her all this shit for being a sports reporter, but being a sports reporter is so very much not reporting in the real sense that it's not, you can't even call it reporting, right? And she's here trying to act like she has some very well thought out political opinions, but then she starts talking and you're like, oh boy, this lady, she didn't really think any of this through, did she? And you know, not everybody plans stuff out, and that's fair, you know, but don't come on here saying stuff like this. This is just crazy stuff.
Never wanted to vote Republican, but because of how the mainstream media works, because of how this current administration has acted since before they got in, it's almost backing them into a corner, and they almost have no choice. It is so comical to me that all of the talent at MSNBC came together and threw basically one big fat tantrum and won. I think it's ridiculous, and I think it's so funny when you look at what the chairman said and how they take such pride in diversity of thought and having different viewpoints on our network. And then what do? A couple days after bringing some...
Look, they seem to be skipping over the fact that she literally is named in the indictments that Trump is like, Trump's like whole crew are on, right? Like the election heist of 2020. It's like crazy that everybody just wants to skip over that fact. Oh, yay. What am I gonna do with these kids? I feel like I have a bunch more criticisms, but do I just continue to beat down this woman who's really not qualified to talk about this? No, we're gonna continue.
Went on with a diverse, different viewpoint. Yeah, then they fire her. So to me, this goes back to the whole reason why we're in this situation in the first place, because with your Donald Trump stuff, I mean, you can go on and say, well, he did this and he did that, and guess what? So did everybody else.
Everybody else tried to steal the election too. Makes sense now. See, chat, we just needed to give her some time and she was going to come to a reasonable conclusion.
I don't want reality.
Debate stage in 2016 with Hillary Clinton, when Anderson Cooper asked him about, did you evade the tax law?
By the way, this was supposed to be a super secret late night after hours chill stream, but we had 16 people in here. We're still chilling, but it doesn't feel as super secret as I was thinking it would be. It was very late when we started.
And he said, absolutely.
Not that I'm saying I'm not glad to see you all here.
Well, why haven't changed the laws? Why haven't the laws changed? Because every single one of you are using those laws as well.
Correct.
So such hypocrisy.
What?
And that's why the American people felt like, and I think feel like, he is the only alternative based
Feelings over facts.
on what the track record currently is with this administration.
Yeah.
Most people don't want to vote for Donald Trump because of some of the reasons that your guests have pointed out. But look at the alternative. Yeah. It's pathetic and it's wrong that we're even in this situation.
Well, let me bring in Ava on this because I
love that none of them are upset though. But if you asked any of them about the supporting of Israel during a genocide, I bet they'd all be totally on board for that. But their criticisms of Biden are that, wait, what are they again? Oh God, he's letting the woke take over the country. That's right. Oh yep, that is bad. Oh my God, whew, that's scary.
I have a real belief here that the way the left go about dealing with Trump is utterly self-harming. That you can have all these views about him, but when you just throw the kitchen sink at trying to stop him being allowed to run again, you know, trying to get him off the ballot, all this kind of stuff, each time they do this, I'm like, why are you doing this? It doesn't work.
It's deeply, deeply unhelpful. I find it really amusing that you call it the left, because the Democrat left is not the left at all, actually. It's actually pretty right-wing.
Really?
What it is pretty right-wing, isn't it?
Yep. Which is why Fran is down here nodding. Oh, I called her Fran. She doesn't actually like being called Fran. I only realized this recently, but I've been trying not to do that. But yeah, Francesca over here is nodding, and so am I, because what the fuck is that? Like, why? It's easy though. Democrats make it easy, right? Like the liberals make it easy because they do a bunch of right-wing shit, but then they claim to be of the left, and you know, leave the rest of us with actual leftist ideas, kind of in the cold.
Progressive left.
You know, you wouldn't exactly go around calling Biden a socialist, and if you did, then you haven't really. Well, then no, because if you do that, then you haven't got a very good reading of any socialist theory. But look, you know.
Bad Lefty's got a good point. The laptop. It stole the election. If we'd all known about the laptop and the dick pics, we would have voted differently? Question mark?
I also just think, you know, that the mess that went on with MSNBC says a lot about where America is at the moment. You know, you guys are always going on about how much you care about free speech and how important it is for people to have their say. And then you invite someone on who, by the way, might have the best insight to Trump possible because she's worked so closely to...
By the way, this is why I was saying that she doesn't say entirely intelligent things this whole time. But once again, I don't think she has a ton of expertise either. Like I said, all I see is that she's got a reasonably large Instagram following. This is a kind of a stupid fucking point to be making. That somehow it's like it's a quashing of free speech to not make somebody a contributor on a journalistic network who helped to subvert democracy. What? What? Huh?
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Right in an election year, and then you throw her out.
Wait a minute, Ava Santina, are you basically agreeing with me?
But
let's take a look at Rachel Maddow, right? Rachel Maddow did this about the Rona McDaniel thing.
The fact that Ms. McDaniel is on the payroll at NBC News, to me, that is inexplicable. I mean, you wouldn't.
Oh my God, inexplicable? Jesus Christ, Rachel is off the freaking reservation here. Inexplicable? Oh my God, maybe Piers is right. These anchors are out of control. Jesus Christ.
You wouldn't hire a wise guy. You wouldn't hire a made man like a mobster to work at a DA's office. And so I find the decision to put her on the payroll inexplicable.
Inexplicable?
And I hope they will reverse their decision.
Oh my God. That is... Whoa. Rachel Maddow, it's insubordination. Piers he's gonna lose his fucking mind.
What he cried out for, Esther, was a little disclaimer saying, just to remind everybody watching MSNBC, that one of Rachel Maddow's presenting colleagues who has her own show on MSNBC is Jen Psaki, who was the White House press secretary for Joe Biden.
This is from 12 Rules
I mean,
for Life.
it is literally beyond parody that they would take this position as if they haven't done that. And of course, all it does, as Elon Musk and others have pointed out, all it does is reveal the double standard. It confirms, once again, one rule for the right, one rule for the left.
Jesus, I say that.
Piers is like so good at stretching the truth. It is nuts. This guy, how has he gotten so far in this world?
And that helps Trump.
It's you could see the smugness in her face
Oh,
when she was
she's
saying
so
that. This is kind of
smug.
this elitism that's for some reason the left in the US is riddled with. And at the end of the day, what they've done to Donald Trump is they've turned him into a martyr for people who he wouldn't traditionally be a martyr for. Because he doesn't, going after him is one thing, but people are saying actually, if this is the extent you'll go to go after Donald Trump, someone you don't like, what are you going to do to me? Right? You're going to try make...
I'm sorry, have you done worse stuff than trying to steal the election, commit fraud, rape, sexual harassment, perjury? How many things is election tampering? I mean, how many things he has? How many did she say? Like 91 different, 91 different indictments. Has she? I think this woman might run like a massive criminal syndicate because she's concerned that somehow Trump, who has done apparently in her mind not very much stuff, like if he's gonna be, what's gonna happen to her? What does that mean? I think that she must literally have some sort of like fleet of pirate ships, as well as like some sort of illegal crypto scam going on. I'm trying to think of how many things she must be doing. She must be like also subverting democracy somewhere in like the global south, I would guess. I'm trying to think, how many things would she have to be doing at once for her to be doing worse stuff? And what else could we think of? Maybe she's like, God, I mean, I'm honestly running out of crimes. Maybe I'm just not, God, I'm just not very creative. This is the problem. You know, if I could just, God damn it, just continue.
91 court cases against him. What are you going to do to me that doesn't have billions of dollars at my disposal? And that's the problem. People are seeing the weaponization of the state in America. They're thinking, actually, it's not about left or right.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Or Democrat or Republican. It's against the state versus me. And people are terrified. And if they have to have a madman to reveal that and to at least work against it, so be it. They have forced most normal people to Donald Trump's side, and they can't see this because they're too elitist.
I know a lot of people who I think would identify as very moderate Republicans, not MAGA at all, or even independent.
So moderate if you only include the most extreme right-wingers and then just Democrats.
Who just see what's going on as a witch hunt. They do. They think it is.
That behavior by Rachel Maddow that is the sort of behavior that's going to
question?
deliver a Trump
Yes,
Trump
Francesca,
win.
far away.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I just want to ask you guys a question about, the Ronna McDaniel thing. I think is interesting. I think it is a great point, an important point to, number one, say that MSNBC is not the left, right? And they also, obviously, the revolving door.
I don't want reality.
What? Hey, don't do that. Excuse me. This is very rude.
Politics and news media is disgusting. It happens on the Democratic left and it happens on the Republican right all the time. But let's do a little corollary here. Ronna McDaniel was involved in a scheme to basically send all...
Have I been consuming these loons for an entire hour? Yes, and I've also watched the majority of this interview, maybe the entirety of this interview once before. But it's a super secret late night after hours chill stream. And so this is the most serious it's going to get tonight. I wasn't even planning on doing a stream. The fact that you're all here is throwing me off. I was thinking this could be a low stakes type of stream. I mean, look, you're getting a bunch of free support characters. Does this feel normal to you at all? Okay? Yeah, you got 15, 16 likes here. Not even, you got 10 likes. And yet you somehow you got Cisco and Neo and Morty and Angela Lansbury. I mean, my God. Is this not, you're not, are there no signs right now for you that we're in a sort of weird situation?
In Michigan was on the phone saying, don't certify the 2020 election, please, and quote, we will get you lawyers if you don't certify, don't worry. So this is straight up election interference.
Hold on, we gotta go back and listen to Fran, because I've been talking too much.
disgusting. It happens on the Democratic left and it happens on the Republican right all the time. But let's do a little corollary here. Ronna McDaniel was involved in a scheme to basically send alternate electors in Michigan, was on the phone saying, don't certify the 2020 election, please, and quote, we will get you lawyers if you don't certify, don't worry. So this is straight up election interference for all y'all who are claiming election interference.
How is
By
what the
same
Democrats
token,
are doing
let's
any
say
different?
Hang on.
How is what they're doing any different by firing Ronna McDaniels? It's the same thing as calling electors and telling them that you'll give them financial and legal support if they subvert democracy. How is there any difference, Chad? I don't see it either. Oh, God. So stupid. Why have I been tricked this whole time? Good God. I feel like it's so... I know I'm laying on the sarcasm pretty thick, but the fact is the things these people are saying are so easily verifiably wrong.
Hang on. My question's coming.
But how is it any
my question's
different?
coming. My question's coming. Time out. My question's coming.
No different.
My question's coming. So imagine the Hunter Biden scandal, right? That a lot of folks on the right think that this is the biggest news. Is Hunter Biden accepting $5 million from this company and then to do a thing and whatever.
It
So
stinks.
imagine.
Yeah, he did.
Hang on.
absolutely
Hang on.
stinks.
My question's coming. Imagine.
Yes, and?
Imagine if
so sad.
Ashley Biden.
Oh my God, Hunter Biden. Wait, I assume they're all as equally upset about Jared Kushner doing deals with Saudi Arabia while he was the what was he again? He wasn't the secretary. He was the advisor to the president. I'm sure he had just as they all are probably equally upset about that. So let's not rush to conclusions.
Were hired by Fox News.
She's not.
What if Newsmax decided to have Malia Obama?
That'd be a
What
good
if
decision.
we had
She's not Hunter Biden,
a
though.
right-wing outlet?
You know what I would
wants some
say,
balance, hang
Francesca?
on,
You know what I would
and
say?
said,
I would say let them all go on the airwaves. If they're any good and they offer insight into the characters running their party, I'm all for it, right? And both sides
So
are
you
guilty.
guys would have no problem
both
with
sides
Ashley
are
Biden
guilty
being hired by Fox News?
Listen, both sides are guilty of hypocrisy. Let's move on to something else. I want to move on to the Baltimore Bridge.
Let's move on to something else because this is uncomfortable for me because she's too right about things.
The Baltimore Bridge story. Well, no, I kind of agree with.
This guy has made 3,700 poop faces so far, and it's only been 21 minutes in. He's got a big load to take care of right now.
So that's why I'm moving on. The Baltimore Bridge story. Let me go to you, Vinny, on this. It just strikes me that nothing can happen now in the world without conspiracy theorists immediately hijacking whatever event it is, whether it's the Princess of Wales who's got a health condition that we now know is cancer, or whether it's a bridge being hit by a cargo ship.
Piers loves the royal family so much. Like, I feel like if he could, like, if they asked him to be part of the family, he would jump into their arms with the biggest, like, child. Like, I can just imagine him, like, with little pigtails and, like a big lollipop to like, me, and then just, like, running to King Charles to gobble him up. It just, oh, God. I just hate Piers so much. He's... he can't help but just live this completely contradictory, weird life.
Whatever it may be, immediately on social media, you see it start to rage into complete madness. You know, you've got people like Andrew Tate saying it was clearly a cyber attack. It's the end of the world. Alex Jones goes in. This is the beginning of the end and so on. Zero evidence for any of this. But I see it because they've got big followings, these guys. Within, 4 hours, I've got people messaging me going, wow, was it really a cyber attack? No, it wasn't. There's no evidence for that. What do we do about, well, first of all, do you share my concern about that, Vinny? And secondly, what do we do about it?
Well, Piers, this just happened yesterday. So even for me or you, Piers, to say right now it wasn't a cyber attack, you don't know, we don't know. The bridge was, apparently.
Look at everybody's face right now. This woman looks outright concerned as fuck. Francesca looks like this is confirming everything that she ever thought about him. This lady is like, oh no, he's on my side. Look at her. She's very upset that this guy's decided to go full Alex Jones on this situation. And and what's her name? Shit, I've forgotten everybody's name here. Ava? No. Esther. Okay. That's a weird name. But seriously, like, this freeze frame is amazing for me. Piers is trying to stop him from saying this nutty stuff, so he's trying to talk over him. But this guy, he has to poop really bad, so he's going to get this out no matter what. But let's rewatch that last 10 seconds, which was just classic TV. Oh, God. Thank you for smashing the like button, indeed. Look at all the people making it to the super secret stream. Unexpected. Okay, let's listen to this idiocy one more time.
Well, Piers, this just happened yesterday. So even for me or you, Piers, to say right now it wasn't a cyber attack, you don't know, we don't know. You know, the bridge was, apparently shut down.
By that same logic, you know what? Chat, we gotta think about this again. Just happened. There's no way to know for sure. So it could be literally anything. Could it be space interference? Perhaps. Actual aliens? Almost definitely. But there's no way to say for sure. Was it Jesus? Who's to say?
Aliens didn't attack it, but I'm pretty sure they didn't. And I'm also sure what I heard from the police, which is actually no.
Yeah. But Piers, ready for this? I don't know if you guys have. This was very, very eerie looking, like the beginning of Barack and Michelle's Obama on Netflix called "Leave the World Behind." The opening scene is this cargo ship is coming to the beach and blends up on the beach. I've seen multiple videos.
I thought the right wingers hated that movie. He's saying that he watched that movie and he's quoting it now, and he's saying that is what happened here. It was the Islamists? I'm confused. North Korea? No, it's China. Nope, it's the deep state. Somebody did it, and that's what he. Sure, it only happened a couple of days ago, but he's already got a super sweet conspiracy theory going.
No, but people want to question for the fact that
it's not heading to the beach, Vinny. It's heading under a bridge. And then the lights.
Hold on, Piers.
The lights go off. The ship immediately sends a Mayday alert, which means that cars don't go over the bridge and people's lives are saved. And then because the power had gone off, it veers off target and it hits the stanchion. The real scandal is, why did that bridge all collapse when one part of it was hit? That is what I suspect will be the real scandal.
Piers is getting on board now.
The route of that ship was very suspect, that it turned, came back, and like you said, because it goes.
Piers is on board now. It's gone full tinfoil hat. We are all in the Twilight Zone. But hold on, let me just back this up.
That is what I suspect will be the real scandal.
The route of that ship was very suspect, that it turned, came back, and like you said, it hit the most vulnerable part of the bridge, of the
and because they dropped an anchor,
and then hit that main part of the bridge. And hold on, and by the way, let's talk about the broader problem. Pete Buttigieg, Director of Transportation.
Yep.
We have the East Palestine disaster.
If you're not familiar, in his spare time, Department of Labor head Pete Buttigieg is driving cargo ships for extra cash because he's not making enough money over there, and so he's been what's it called? Moonlighting as a cargo ship captain.
With the train, airplanes are falling out of the sky. Bridges are getting torn down, hidden by what is this guy doing? I mean, he's never to be found. I think they just went to East Palestine. Biden just went a little while ago. It's like what is really going on?
That was amazing. I think he meant Palestine. But I do get his confusion. It is spelled Palestine. But that was hilarious, because I'm pretty sure he's talking about the railroad in East Palestine. He almost got me saying it now.
I went on paternity leave for 3 months. He's barely doing. If this guy was flipping burgers at McDonald's, he would have been fired.
It's all Joe Biden and Pete Buttigieg's fault. That's clear, at least in his mind. I'm not sure I see the connection entirely. I would say it's sort of a bunch of things, and none of those things. there's no one explanation for all of those things, if I'm being perfectly honest.
3 years ago. So I don't know what, like, besides the conspiracies, it's like, what is up with that transportation?
Oh, besides them.
Everything is going
Let me also,
I can care less about the conspiracy.
No, I actually think he is useless. You're right. But Sage, on this, Sage, I mean, are you part? Are you?
I love Piers Morgan so much. He cherry picked the one and only cogent sentence in there and said, "You're right," to that one sentence, when the rest of it was literal, like, Alex Jones conspiracy theories.
Are you up for the conspiracies about it, or do you accept
No.
that?
It's old Pete Buttigieg and Joe Biden. They're coming. They're coming for you. They're coming for the kids. They got fluoride in the water, and that fluoride in the water is creating 5G signals. It's taking down bridges and planes and trains. It's the apocalypse.
Actually, accidents happen.
I think it's awful that people automatically go there, and in some ways, I guess I can't blame them because of the state of the world today and in this country, etc. But all it takes, maybe it's the reporter in me, all it takes is saying, okay,
The reporter.
hold on.
Do you hear her? She's calling herself a reporter right now. First off, we've already established she's not a real reporter. And the fact that she wants to try and assess the state of the world from her little sports bubble is kind of killing me. And the fact is, I watch sports, but I'm very aware of the fact that that's not representative of the whole fucking world.
Second, let me look at the video, and then let me listen to what the authorities are saying when they're at the microphone, and then you...
Have I used cogent more than once today? You know, that's on me. I'm not a dictionary, okay? I don't have that many words prepared for any one particular moment.
Here that they tried, there's a Mayday call, which, by the way, kudos to the police officers in Baltimore, by the way, for which there aren't many because they keep losing people on the forces, but the ones that were there were able to say, oh my gosh, stop the cars on both ends, right? And they were doing their best to get over to the middle of the bridge where those poor workers were, but they couldn't get there without driving their car. So right now, 6 presumed dead. I mean, the Mayday is what saved even more lives.
Sage, you know, this is why
a conspiracy.
Yeah, but Sage,
think about this. It wouldn't have happened at 1:30 in the morning. Like, that's not the time to take everybody out.
Of course, no.
Sure.
I think it's all preposterous.
She's wound up with a reasonable
Alex Jones is
end to
one
that
of the people
sentence.
who've led the conspiracy.
The fact is none of these people are engineers. And I think at some point, someone in here recognizes that fact. I wasn't fully paying attention because I was also reading funny chats from all of you. But at some point, somebody in this chat, or in this discussion, recognizes the fact that none of them are engineers. However, now I don't have an engineering degree, but I did actually do 4 semesters of mechanical engineering. So I can tell you that bridges are oftentimes connected all the way through to help add structural support, especially these kinds of bridges. And so you hit one point in the bridge and it pulls the rest of the metal structure down. You notice that the actual ramps, that the stanchions, or whatever you want to call them, the support structures that are coming out of the water, they're still standing, aside from the one that was hit, right? Because they're different parts, right? And so yeah, like if you go back and you watch it, you'll see that the actual, like, the cement portions of the bridge on both sides are still standing, and that many of the pillars are still standing in the water, aside from the one that was struck directly by the ship. And the reason that whole structure came down is because they're basically bolted to to each other all the way through. Well, not bolted. What's the word? Yeah, they're using a bunch of bolts. Yeah, but also welds. Could it be from birds falling out of the sky due to the Buttigieg chemtrail? Oh, it could be that. It could be that. Chris Garrett's making a very good point. Very good point.
Theories on this. and he has a big following. And I had a bit of a falling out with Elon Musk about this, because originally, after the $1 billion defamation award against him for the appalling abuse of the Sandy Hook families, where he deliberately traded in their misery.
Look, BCat, you can be an astronaut if you want to be, okay? You just need a little bit of American ingenuity, okay? Just strap yourself to a rocket and shoot yourself into space. It's that easy. This is in no way anybody. That's fake news. Don't do that.
Lying about the whole thing being staged by actors and so on. He got one of the biggest defamation awards in history against him. And Elon Musk originally, when he bought Twitter, said, I'm not going to allow him back on the platform. Now he has. And sure enough, immediately, he's back spewing conspiracy theories, because guess what, Sage? It makes money. It gets him clicks, and it gets him.
Oh, you thought my Alex Jones impression was good? I appreciate that. I haven't really practiced it very much, but I don't know. I think I can just kind of channel that Alex Jones energy somehow.
Billions of dollars. And I don't think that to me, there should be a line. If you are deliberately spreading deliberate lies, you know are lies, wild conspiracy theories, just to trade in misery, you shouldn't be allowed to use these platforms to do it.
But he's also psychotic, and I think he does believe some of those things.
I don't think he believes any of it. I think you're being generous. It's generous to say he's mad.
But Piers,
It's a good point, Goth Dogs. DeVry is basically like it's like a pipeline directly to space. Anybody who's trying to be an astronaut, that's your first option, I'd say.
Can I say one thing? It's not as if we didn't, and I'm not saying it, I'm just saying we have had 2 already cyber attacks, one on AT&T, one on all the Instagram, everything. It's almost as it's like, and by the way, from that movie, Leave the World Behind, it's almost as if it's predictive programming. Hold on. And then Piers, when people fall into these
this guy
conspiracy
really
theories,
loves that
you
movie.
just said Kate Middleton. I pray for her. I hope everything is okay. But when you keep putting out fake
It's weird. I was not expecting him to like that movie that much. He's quoted it twice now. He must be like, he must have watched it like multiple times now. Holy crap. Literally. Look at this guy. He is ready to fart a huge one right now. I think that's the only faces that he makes are basically poop faces.
Fakes of her, what do you expect the people to think? And do you want us Americans to trust whatever their government or the mainstream media says to them? They've lost all faith. Going back to MSNBC, Rachel Maddow, all these people. Nobody has faith in these people.
Yeah, conspiracy theorists have been emboldened by the mainstream media.
Hang on, Francesca. I'll come to you in a second.
Conspiracy theorists have been emboldened by the mainstream media and by government agencies.
Conspiracy theories like this weirdo rubbing his neck right now and reconsidering every choice in his life.
Losing the faith of the public. I mean, COVID was a huge driver of this. There were so many things that we were told to believe that were proven to be untrue. And then when they were proven to be untrue, these agencies didn't apologize for them. So they feel like they have a monopoly on information. And people are like, actually, no. Yeah. I'm going to look for multiple sources and try and come to my own conclusions. Obviously, they're going to get it wrong. And this is what happened. This is what you're seeing now with conspiracy theorists. But you know what? The people at the top have themselves to blame.
And by the way, Ava, it works on both sides. I see people on the right and the left spewing conspiracy theories, or refusing to change their position about stuff and behaving like fascists towards people who don't agree.
Oh, weird. Behaving like fascists toward people that don't agree with them. Who do I... It's weird. That sentence makes me think of some people. Maybe this guy right here. A little bit.
That's also part of the problem.
But Piers, how do you determine then who to silence and who not to? I mean, it's very subjective, and that's where you get into that dangerous territory.
Well, I think where you have
he's
people...
gone too far,
I think the line is where you have people who have a proven...
You think this guy's on drugs? Like, what do you think? Coke? I mean, that's my first guess. For a guy wearing this weird sort of collar pin for a chill interview. You see, everybody here is kind of dressed chill to some degree. Even Piers has an unbuttoned shirt. This guy came in with the red tie and a vest and the collar pin. I mean, whew. You'd think that he was trying to become president or something. Or maybe the Monopoly guy.
demonstrable track record of trading in misery by spewing conspiracy theories for hundreds of millions of dollars. Eventually, the penny should drop. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
They have people like Alex Jones have a business model.
And the other thing,
Ava?
Look, I don't think that the Kate
Here's- I
Middleton
think the
conspiracy
other thing
theories
that
were
they
that out of
trade
hand.
in-
Hang on one second,
important to
Francesca.
note.
I'm going to come to you in one sec. Ava?
I don't think that the Kate Middleton conspiracy theories were that out of hand. I think some of the things that we're reading about Baltimore are absolutely ludicrous. I mean, one thing that Americans don't want to confront is that during the 70s, a lot of your industry left Baltimore, left that area, and, you outsourced it. And so, yeah, a cheap bridge was built and it hasn't been maintained. But, you guys are so consumed by looking at conspiracy theories. You can't actually look at how terrible.
You can immediately tell that Sage Steele is out of her depth when she starts talking about outsourcing and like actual policy and history. She's like, "Oh, this isn't my bag." Can we talk about sports?
Your current trade system is.
Actually, that bridge was built with reinforced concrete, so it wasn't the actual structural integrity of it that so far the information shows was the problem. It was actually
The actual metal part of the bridge is not reinforced concrete; it's steel.
Esther, you are agreeing that was that
Well, let me
was
bring in
structurally
Francesca, who's
sound.
been waiting
No, but it was
patiently.
I mean, are any of us engineers?
No.
This is the question. Are any of us
Thank you, Fran. It was Fran who was the one. I knew somebody said it. Of course, it was Fran.
engineers? How many of us have seen a massive cargo ship hit a pillar of a bridge and it collapsed? I think none of us. So we don't actually know how it's impacted. But I did want to just explain in terms of the other, it's not conspiracy theories, but the other angles. Piers, you're 100% right. There's got to be an angle, especially the far right, I think, has to have an angle on something. It can't just be a tragedy unless it's a mass shooting, in which case
Well,
it's
the
just a
far
tragedy.
left are
It has
just
nothing
as
to do with gun
bonkers,
control.
honestly.
But
They're
look
just
at
as
this-
mad.
Hang on, but all right, let's see if you say what I'm
Yes.
saying is bonkers to you. In terms of American infrastructure, the far right and the Republicans in the United States Congress refuse to vote for Biden's infrastructure plan that gives millions, billions of dollars to bridges and roads, specifically in cities that are overlooked and underfunded, and yes, where investment has left, like Baltimore. No Republican voted for that bill, and yet a lot of those Republicans are taking credit for that bill. You see Lauren Boebert taking
Well,
credit
here's
for
what I
new
would say to you.
waterways
All
in
right,
her own
Francesca,
district.
here's what I would say. I think you
Thanks
make
to Joe Biden. Hang on.
Yeah, well, Joe Biden, remember, gave
Hang
us.
on, the other
Joe
angle here
Biden
is
said
there is
yesterday he used to get the
people are
train
saying
over
that-
that bridge. Trains have never gone over that bridge. That doesn't help, does it?
And also, if the Democrats took law and order more seriously, you wouldn't have an exodus of people and law enforcement leaving Baltimore. That might have something to do with investment, not just them
But
shipping.
Francesca, look,
jobs
Francesca, here's
overseas.
it.
These people are like living in a fabricated reality. It is bonkers.
Hang on, let me ask
Look,
Francesca
and the
this.
last point, hang on.
Go on. Go on. Francesca, go on.
Last point about the sage, I thought had some really sage words, actually, and talked about those workers, the people who did die.
Yeah.
And those people were actually immigrants, immigrant workers. And guess who built this country? Immigrants.
Of course.
They have always built this country, and they continue to build this
Yeah,
country.
I think it's
and
important to
I know
acknowledge
you
that.
roll
I
your
agree.
eyes because you can't imagine that actually immigrants from Latin America would be the ones at 1 a.m. working their tail off to make sure that people can drive safely
Okay.
over bridges. They were filling in potholes. These folks have families.
Yes.
These folks have names.
And I think
yet we in this
Francesca, I think
country,
we can all
especially on the
agree-
right, demonize them as if they don't work hard and if they're not deserving
that's not what
of
people are
actual
doing.
civil
Yeah, but no,
rights
they're
and
not,
human rights.
they're not.
Because
That's definitely what people are doing.
That built the country
You're conflating two
came here
things.
legally.
Oh,
America
no.
was built on immigration. That is completely true. But what happened with the workers who very sadly died in this disaster, this tragedy, has nothing to do with the crisis at the southern border, which is an absolute abrogation of leadership in stopping the tidal
Not if you're
wave
Maria
of
Bartiromo.
illegal immigration. It should not be easier to get into America illegally than it is to get into America legally. And I speak as someone who is described as an exceptional alien on my
are you guys
visa
all going to pick
status
up construction
and took
helmets?
years to
and
get that
everyone
status.
going to work on that bridge?
Right, it took me a long time to get a visa for America. You go through a lot of stuff, a lot of meetings, a lot of interviews.
How
I
many
didn't
bridges
dip
did you
over
have
a
to work
border.
on, Piers?
Sorry? Sorry?
How many bridges, how many construction jobs do you have to get up for? Was it
Are
a
you
tough
joking?
shift?
Are you
5
joking?
Wait a minute.
Piers Morgan has never built anything in his life aside from a reputation of dickishness. Okay, even like he's never even built a sandcastle bridge. He probably had like a, like a butler make it for him or something.
That's ridiculous.
So unless I've actually,
Either way.
unless I physically built that bridge, I'm
I
not
am
allowed
joking.
to
I'm a
comment
comic.
on you trying to conflate two immigration stories. Shame on you, Francesca. Let me bring in one other subject.
I don't think that Piers Morgan's ever worked a real job in my life, aside from talking. If you count talking as a real job, then that's his job, you know? Fran? What? Habituation room. Yeah. Francesca Fiorentini.
That bridge. I'm
I
not
am
allowed
joking.
to
I'm
comment
a comic.
on you trying to conflate two immigration stories. Shame on you, Francesca. Let me bring in one other.
By the way, this guy in the middle, that's now doing some weird thing with his tongue. This guy, he's creeping me out. This Vincent guy. The only thing he's ever done is comedy and podcasts. Okay, so like the fact that he can't take a joke from Fran when this guy in the middle has just been saying just the most nonsense fucking conspiracy theories, and that he then says at the end of their rants like, oh yeah, I totally agree with you. Like she makes a single joke about the fact that Piers Morgan has never worked a real job with his hands, and you know, he's like, oh my god, just because I've never worked on it, he gets so upset about it. It's like, dude, like, be real, bud. Like, you just don't like people who criticize or even poke fun at you. You have no humor. You have like literally zero journalistic integrity that you supposedly claim to have ad nauseum. Oh, it's such a frustrating conversation. This is why I usually avoid Piers Morgan interviews, but because today was a chill stream, I was like, fuck it, let's deep dive this garbage.
I'm just trying to think of those who were lost in this tragedy.
We all agree
That's
with you,
all
though.
I'm doing.
We all agree with you.
are.
And no one is
We all
bashing. No one is bashing the immigrants working on that bridge.
shine your halo
I've not
now.
seen that from anybody.
Yeah.
What I'm bashing are the mad stories about cyber attacks and so on, which we know nothing about. I want to just end with Meghan Markle, my favorite subject.
Dude, Piers Morgan he loves the royal family. I swear to God, he's such an orthodox thinking weirdo. Like, and like he only criticizes people like Meghan Markle. And I'm not going to postulate right now why it is that he criticizes Meghan Markle, but I think we all know why.
Who was apparently, through her ludicrously named new lifestyle brand, American Riviera Orchard, selling birdseed and edible pet treats.
This is the serious stuff, okay? Piers is getting into the most important stuff. That is gossip about the royal family and what they're doing on a day-to-day basis. We all need this. This is important, and it's vital. And without this, I don't know what else we would do.
She's going into the pet food market. Vinny, every time I think she can't get more ludicrous, she gets more ludicrous. What do we make of this? A member of the royal family flogging pet food.
I mean, Piers, I'm not the only.
I don't think he even knows who Piers is talking about right now. This guy seems like he gets all of his news and history directly from Alex Jones.
Real story that I was following was the Kate Middleton story, but it's almost as if like every week it's just
he genuinely has no fucking clue what Piers is talking about or who Meghan Markle is.
something else with this.
This guy is so dumb.
Girl, where are they living right now, Piers? They're in the United States, correct?
Correct.
Don't be creepy.
I think she is in charge of that relationship. Whatever she says goes, and it's so blatantly obvious who's in charge, and it's just she's one of the key pieces that I think is really messing up this family.
Ava, apparently, according to Vinny, it's obvious who's in charge, and they're moving into the.
Oh no, not the royal family. Oh no, Chad, I'm not going to be able to get through this right now. Oh, if the royal family is having problems, what are we going to do? There's no future for us without them. Good God.
Pet food market.
Yeah, well, you know, look, Meghan Markle's minding her own business. She's making her own money, which, Piers, you told her
She's
to
not minding
go
her
and
own business.
do.
She's using. Hang
She
on.
is minding her
She's
own
not.
business. She's left the
She's
country.
not.
We drove her
She is
out, let's be
using-
honest.
She is using.
No, she's not minding her business. She just left the country and started doing something completely unrelated to the royal family.
Her royal titles, because it's all under the Duchess of Sussex. She
Which-
is using her
which
royal
is
status
hers.
to launch a pet food
As
scam
is her
business.
right. As is her right. As is her business.
Royal pet food. I mean, I've heard it all.
Good for you, Meghan. Keep winding up the right people. Piers, I'm sorry for you in this difficult time. I do feel for you.
Francesca, I mean, you talked about
Do you
the
have
mad.
Do you have pets, Piers?
I do have two. I have two Burmese cats.
Nice. Are they not deserving of royal food?
Dude, oh my god. Look, every single person here, including Piers, is smiling at this joke. Everybody's dying, aside from Vincent, who is like grimacing as he holds back like something in his pants right now. Because he is struggling. You know, he shouldn't have gotten into this 7-piece suit before coming to this interview and before pooping. Yeah, I feel like it was a really bad decision on his part because everybody's having fun here. You know, it's almost beautiful to see the left and the right laughing together. Aside from Vincent, who just all he can think of right now is, why didn't I poop before this?
Let me tell you, the pet food she's going to come up with will not be regal. It won't be royal. It's a scam. She's putting the royal seal of approval over regular
but here's
pet
the thing.
food.
You have a failed
Trump
podcast.
can sell a
you have a
Bible.
documentary
I get
nobody
it.
watches.
Okay, I think we've seen enough of this. But shit is so special. And like honestly, Fran manages to make it watchable because she pushes back at all the right times, I would say. I mean, there's a couple of times where I would have, but she honestly managed to keep her composure in a way where I'm not sure I would have. I would have interjected probably so much that it would have caused a something of a situation. But she manages to make her points in a very clear and concise manner, and and with humor, with comedy. His pets aren't worthy of royal treatment, I believe is what she said. Or like regal food. Essentially suggesting that Piers doesn't give a fuck about his pets. Bam! Suck it, Piers. Ugh, I wanted to play this, but I just realized this is like copyright death. If I play that. Damn it. Why can't I just have a chill stream without being stopped by capitalism? It's very frustrating. You know, I got plans in life. I want to do fun stuff. And then they're like, no. No. You would not have watched this without us. Well, I'm not sure whether or not to say sorry or you're welcome, Moanope, but you pick. Wait, why are you thanking me, goth dogs? What did what did I do? I don't even know what it is that you're thanking me for. What did I'm struggling to think of what it is. You're thanking me for subjecting you to all that? Oh my god. I opened so many windows. Just researching these people on this panel.
The vault shall be within you.
part-time good guy.
I don't want reality.
Yeah, this whole situation with the typing is out of control. Something must be done. Okay. Well, chat. What I've got for us next, since it's a chill stream, and I spent most of the day doing self-care on the space station, I don't have a ton of stuff prepared, so we're gonna look at this Status Quo News video from 8 hours ago, where they were live from the ceasefire protest outside of the Biden-Obama-Clinton mega fundraiser in the New York City area. YouTube office? What does that mean? YouTube office. YouTube office. Is that are you talking about me? My YouTube office? I'm thrown. I'm thrown. And I'm sure some of you may be thinking to yourselves, I thought this was a chill stream. We're going to watch a protest? Well, I never said who was going to be chill for, so just going to throw that out there. There's more stuff we could technically cover right now that I have technically watched, but let's just wait for tomorrow for some of that. I love you too, Bad Lefty. Love you too, pal. Wait, where'd this video go from? Shut up, bitch. Yeah, there you are. Oh, wow. Is that what he was saying? That is radical. That is radical. I hope that was a joke. I hope that was a joke. Palestine will never die. Whoa, that's loud. Palestine will never die. yes, Chris Garrett is right. Much props and much respect to Status Quo for the coverage that they've been doing. If you're not already, for some strange reason, because I feel like I've said it every single time we've watched one of their videos, if for whatever reason you're not following and or subscribing to Status Quo on the appropriate sources, well, you gotta do something about that. Literally the only alt left on the street coverage. Yeah, essentially, to some degree, not entirely, but you're kind of right. You're kind of right. And I guess I would just say that I think part of that has to do with the fact that on the ground coverage is very expensive, and driving people to places where potential or current news is either going to be or currently happening, it requires a bunch of money, and nobody's funding leftists to go do stuff like that, right? That's the thing that's crazy and sucks, right? Is that there's not enough. Like, I would personally love to be able to do that, and I actually have some of the equipment necessary for that, but the actual coming down from the space station and going to certain places in America or wherever it might be to get the news, like, is a varying degree of insanely expensive.
Alright guys, so we are live in New York.
At one point I was actually considering, like it's a crazy idea, but like considering buying like some broken down sort of old bus and like try to turn it into like a traveling, but it's just like so much to go into, and like the expense is pretty big. Pretty big. Once you start adding things together, it's a little unmanageable.
Right outside of Radio City Music Hall, where there is a Democrats are holding a fundraiser for Biden's re-election campaign. So Biden will be here, Obama will be here, and Bill Clinton will be here. So there's a group of protests out here already. I would say maybe 100 to 150 protesters. But there are more protests happening around this event. So they'll be showing up here shortly. But we're expecting hundreds to thousands of protests.
Not a Jordan Sheridan fan, eh, Chokey? Well, I'm sorry to subject you to this if that's the case.
Just to show up here and protest this fundraiser. So as soon as you
Right, my dog. Good point. Yeah, there's a few people that do it. Yeah, there's a few people that do it, but I would say the Status Quo is probably one of the biggest ones. I think that's a fair assessment to make.
Tune in here, smash the like button, share this stream. Let's get this out there. Let's fight back against the YouTube algorithm as they've been suppressing our videos, our channel. I will get to some interviews, but as you see here, the media is the corporate media.
Do you have some sort of like critique of his work, or do you just not like his personality? Because either one is probably totally fair. You know, YouTube content's completely subjective. People watch what they enjoy. So I'm just wondering.
Is out here. Some of them are filming the protest, but most of them are just ignoring it and just waiting for the.
Emma says he's agreed. Really? I'd never heard that. Emma Vigland, I assume, is who you're talking about.
Motorcade.
Yeah, I mean that definitely makes me question him a little bit. But what I'm actually I'm somewhat interested to know a lot more about this now. Huh. Anybody got links?
Arrive. So let me turn it back on the protest. Like I said, give me a few minutes. Let's
listen to me. We're having a chill stream and going deep in the weeds on random shit.
Let's get situated, and then I'll do some interviews.
Oh, okay. I see, Choki. Sorry, I was a little bit. Hold on. Oh my god, I'm sneezing on the space station. There's no pollen up here. Sorry. Sometimes I'm not fully reading chat. Ask any of the mods. They know, I think, the best out of anybody. That sometimes chats go by me, and I only read 60 to 70% of them, and I don't fully understand what's happening. It's kind of a theme, because I'm doing so many things usually. Although today I don't really have as much of an excuse. Be honest though, now that you've said that, now that I've heard multiple things recently here involving Emma apparently, and involving what was the other thing? Shit, I've lost track. I feel like I do want to know more about this, honestly. Like, where'd you hear this? Did she say this live on MR or something, or on ESVN?
Being robbed to kill children. Don't let anyone fool you. The money for that weaponry comes from your livelihood, from your taxes, from your education, from your infrastructure. Your taxes are being robbed to kill children.
I'm never I'm never doing this. I feel like usually I'm pretty focused on the news, but today, because I wasn't prepared, I feel like I've somehow jumped onto the old, what do you call it? Oh my god, the first thing that comes to mind is the toxic gossip train. Which is obviously a ridiculous thing, but usually you know me, I don't usually get into the quote-unquote weeds on a whole lot of stuff. I'd prefer to get into the historical context of things, but this is what happens. This is what happens, chat, when I have no plans, when I haven't done my homework. Suddenly, I'm just like, oh, let's do some crazy shit. Let's watch Piers Morgan in entirety. What? Oh, God. Let's watch Piers Morgan in entirety and get into leftist gossip. Let's do it. Come on, chat.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
How long have I even been streaming? Oh my god, 2.5 hours. You're shitting me. 2.5 hours. Who's in charge of this situation? Is it me? It might be me.
I don't want reality.
Yeah, that's a good point, Mark. I think it's God's fault, maybe. That seems like the easy answer. Just kidding. Don't strike me down. Okay. Okay, we won't go into the weeds, but maybe we'll watch a couple of videos just to keep us apprised of things that have been happening over the last 24 hours. Look at this, chat. Now I'm going to try and do the news. What is going on? Have I lost my mind? I'm not prepared for this at all. Alright, fuck it. We're gonna do a super short, like technically real stream. Don't give me rockets. I did not prepare for this. This is supposed to be a chill stream. What is happening? What's happening? I've lost my freaking mind.
The box is full of Pepe.
Okay, I guess we'll start at the fucking beginning. I technically made a list. I just didn't really do any preparation at all. It's healthier to avoid the drama gossip train if possible. Yeah. I just avoid saying the phrase even, mostly because it just conjures images of what's her face and the ukulele. Okay, hold on, chat. I gotta pull up some windows now if I'm gonna do this like a big boy. Get my pants on. Just kidding, chat. I'm wearing pants. Well, shorts. Those are chill rockets? Okay, okay. The chillest of rockets. I appreciate that. Full speed ahead, chill rockets. Full speed ahead, chill rockets. I don't know why, but like I feel like I've got this stuck in my head now. I don't know why I have it in my head. Colleen Ballinger.
All aboard the toxic gossip train. Chugging down the tracks of misinformation. The toxic gossip train. You got a one-way ticket to the manipulation station. Toxic gossip train. Time you to the tracks and facts become lost. These rumors look like facts if you don't mind the gaps. They won't survive in the crash, but hey. At least you're having fun.
I don't know why that's stuck in my head. I think it's because some streamer, it's either like NCC or like the Surfs or somebody's been listening to that recently, I think. Also because I said Toxic Gossip Train, which is the curse. You say it, then that song goes into your head and you're like, why does this exist? Like, why? So many life questions start to come flooding into your head, like, God, what is our what the fuck is our discourse? Okay, this is gonna be super short-ish. We've already been going 2.5 hours. What are we doing, chat? I've lost my fucking mind. This is what happens. Do a bunch of self-care, take a little nappy poo, and then I stream through the good portion of the morning. That's normal. That's normal. It's a normal human thing. Wait, I'm muted? I'm muted? Huh? You can't hear me. Huh? Let you know when the song's over. This is worse than the car crash that you heard yesterday. Wow. Wow. Wow, Mo. It's going pretty far. And it wasn't a car. It was a space car crash. Let's be more specific. Oh, that's what I. That's what I need to clip. Ah, that's what I need to clip. Precision of language. What's that from? Divergent? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's get serious. First one. Investigation underway into shooting that left toddler dead in Allentown. This is bringing me down already, Chad. I don't want to do this. What are we doing? What are we doing? Oh, just kidding, chat. All right, let's get into it. Fucking dead toddlers. First vid. Well, not really the first vid. Oh, you do hear me. Okay. No, I realized what happened after the fact, but initially I was like, when my dogs just typed muted, I was like, shit, I'm muted. Then I realized it was in reference to the Toxic Gossip Train song, which is totally fair. It's a disaster, but it was in my head, and I guess I unfairly and selfishly wanted you all to be in the same headspace as me, and I'm sorry for that. Why is this muted? Dick. Go back.
Now, this is out of the Lehigh Valley. Police in Allentown are investigating a shooting that claimed the life of a 3-year-old boy. Now, we know that officers responded to a home in the 900 block of East Hamilton Street around noon today. They took the toddler to the hospital, but we're learning they could not save him. The coroner will now work to determine the cause and manner of death.
For fuck's sake. I mean, I hope this doesn't sound callous, but I don't care what the cause. It all leads me to the same fucking conclusions. Americans don't deserve to have guns because this kind of shit happens. Okay, that's all we have for the gun violence. Wait a second. Hold the fucking phone. What is happening? What is happening? What have I done? What have I done, chat? Son of a bitch. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. No, it's fine. No big deal. It's not annoying at all to me. Okay. Sorry, chat. I have too many windows, and some of those windows are in the wrong spots, which are making my job infinitely more difficult, and, okay. Go here. Sorry. Fixing it. I don't suck at this, I swear to God. That's what happens when you do crazy improv-y stuff. Yeah, let's just do random shit without preparing it all. Okay. This next video is from Reuters from 12 hours ago, where Sam Bankman-Fried was sentenced to 25 years in the FTX fraud. I think I might do like a deeper dive into this later this week at some point, but for now, let's just take a look at this quickly.
Sam Bankman-Fried was sentenced to 25 years in prison on Thursday. The former billionaire and founder of a defunct cryptocurrency exchange was found guilty by a jury last November of stealing $8 billion from customers of FTX, the exchange he'd founded in what prosecutors said was one of the largest financial frauds in U.S. history. The 32-year-old Bankman-Fried was convicted on 7 counts of fraud and conspiracy stemming from FTX's collapse in 2022. At the sentencing, U.S. District Judge Lewis Kaplan said, quote, "He knew it was wrong. He knew it was criminal. He regrets that he made a very bad bet about the likelihood of getting caught, but he is not going to admit a thing, as is his right." Bankman-Fried acknowledged during 20 minutes of remarks to the judge that FTX customers had suffered, and he offered an apology to his former FTX colleagues. A prosecutor with the U.S. Attorney's Office in Manhattan told the judge, quote, "The criminality here is massive in scale. It was pervasive in all aspects of the business." Federal prosecutors had sought a prison sentence of 40 to 50 years. Bankman-Fried's defense lawyer had argued that a sentence of less than 5.25 years would be appropriate. He also tried to distance his client from other notorious fraudsters.
Now, the fact is, there needs to be a genuine investigation across the board, and it wouldn't take that much effort to figure out, but across the board, it needs to be looked at what it is that crypto genuinely is. In my opinion, even though it continues to skyrocket, it's still a complete fraud. It doesn't change the fact that it's doing well. And, but does he probably deserve what yeah, because he took one fraud and started another fraud on top of it by subverting legal and financial laws. 25 years is crazy long, though. That's totally fair. It's totally fair. And I think it's probably a little much. It's probably a little much. But I need to do more research into it, to be perfectly honest, in terms of the specifics of Sam Bankman-Fried trial and the FTX collapse. Because it might be fair. I can't be 100% on that. Alright, what's next? Oh, okay, yeah. This is from a day ago. The Associated Press. Biden admin lends $1.5 billion to restart Michigan nuclear plant.
Restarting this Palisades nuclear power plant right here in Covert Township is just a phenomenal undertaking. When we get it done, it'll be the first restarted nuclear power plant in American history. Restarting Palisades protects 600 good-paying, high-skilled jobs at the plant and 1,100 more in the community, driving $363 million of regional economic impact. Once operational, Palisades will provide reliable power to more than 800,000 homes and help us meet our statewide clean energy goals by removing 3 million tons of CO2 from the atmosphere annually, roughly equal to the emissions of 650,000 cars. We are so incredibly grateful for the Biden-Harris administration and the Secretary's leadership for saving this plant and jump-starting the economic engine of this region.
Okay, so yeah, this is a generally good story. However, I do have my criticisms of the way this was done. So $1.5 billion was given to Holtec International, which is a energy company that focuses and specializes in nuclear reactors. Do I think that we should be doing that? Yes. Should we be investing in nuclear energy? Yes, but no. Should we be just lending billions of dollars to companies and not getting portions of these businesses? Like, honestly, it frustrates me to no end that massive companies such as this get, interest-free loans when none of us are ever going to get interest-free loans unless for some reason one of you is like a investment banker, and I don't know that about you, but my guess is none of us will ever see interest-free money from a bank ever. And yeah, that's the sort of stuff that happens, where corporations are just given huge sums of money with no real what's it called? With no, like, is there like a benefit to society to it? Yeah, technically, but why is it that we don't get some sort of like legitimate like economic benefit from that, right? Because the fact is, there's plenty of countries where the infrastructure is run completely by the government and that it works perfectly well. I'm trying to think of examples, but I think like, I want to say like Germany is an example. I could be wrong on that one. Hold on. No, fuck it. We're just moving on. We'll look that up later. I could be totally wrong on that, so don't count me, or don't count that as 100%. But I'm pretty confident on it. Moving forward. Wait, who the heck is Bob Belcher? Why don't I know that name? Is that an important name I should know? Oh. That's what it's from. From Bob's Burgers. So you're saying H. John Benjamin is coming on the show? Alright, what are we doing next? Sorry, I got to focus on chat. I get distracted too easily with my ADHD here. Alright, moving forward, let's look at this, where Trudeau accuses conservatives of misleading Canadians on carbon rebate.
Over the past number of years, I have sat down with every premier in the country to talk about everything that we are doing together to fight climate change and everything we need to continue to do, not just to fight climate change.
Look, as an ardent MR watcher, I am embarrassed to admit this, BCat, but I have watched more Archer than I have watched of Bob's Burgers. Like, I've probably watched most of the Bob's Burgers episodes, but I've watched Archer in entirety like at least 2 or 3 times. I'm sorry. I think somehow, for me, I also found Archer first. That's part of the problem, okay? With H. John Benjamin as the voice actor, I don't know. I fell in love with his character on Archer first, and so Bob's Burgers didn't come to me naturally. I've still watched it. I find it a very funny show, and it's great, but I feel like it was also geared towards me a little bit more, as a man, if you will. As a man, it spoke to me.
Jesus, I say that.
That's fair.
Over the past number of years, I have sat down with every premier in the country to talk about everything that we are doing together to fight climate change and everything we need to continue to do, not just to fight climate change, but to put more money in the pockets of Canadians. Conservative premiers across this country are misleading Canadians, are not telling the truth. 8 out of 10 families across the country in federal backstop jurisdictions make more money with the Canada carbon rebate than it costs with the price on pollution. So not only are we fighting climate change and reducing emissions, but we're putting more money back in the pockets of families, particularly in low and middle income families across the country. It's basic math that the Parliamentary Budget Officer has confirmed time and time again. But for ideological reasons or reasons of pure partisan.
I think we discussed this a couple of times now, but I'm just going to reiterate what I've said before. The conservatives, from what I could tell, were doing some sneaky mathematics, right? Where they represented a number that was factually accurate, but didn't actually represent the situation that most Canadians were going to actually experience, right? So I'm trying to remember how they did it, but I think they used like the mean, right, which is just an average where you take all of what it's going to cost everybody, including massive corporations, anybody that you can count as being affected by the carbon tax, and dividing that amongst the citizens, if you will, right, one by one. But if you were to look at it using a different statistical analysis, such as finding the mode, right, where you go and look at the actual middle individual. If you were to put the person paying the least all the way to the people and the corporations paying the most, the mode would be the very middle number, right? And if you look at that, or if you actually were to take the time and say, okay, like, where does it actually start affecting people to the degree, like what Justin Trudeau is here is actually saying, it is going to be more. If I'm understanding what I've seen and the data I've seen up to this point correctly, the majority, the 8 of 10 families and people will be paying less and like getting more in benefits. It's a little convoluted.
Conservative politicians across this country are not telling the truth to Canadians, and that's why I called them out. And I'm going to continue to call them out and remind them that if they really don't like our approach to pricing pollution, they can develop their own approach. Here in BC, that's what a BC more conservative government did years ago.
Okay, now here's my criticism of the whole situation. I think that carbon pricing is, there's problems with it, right? In terms of it being essentially a way for people to hide how much they're polluting by offsetting, quote unquote, with these sorts of things. But giving over money doesn't actually take the carbon out of the atmosphere directly. Now, as long as you're repurposing it to some degree to cut down on things, it's good to some degree. But we can't forget the fact that carbon taxes don't solve the problem that actually needs to be solved, which is the cutting down of emissions, not just the whatever. You get what I'm saying. Also coming up with energy alternatives that don't create carbon the same way that the oil industry does. Okay. Monope is upset. I don't know why she's upset. Uh-oh. The debate has been going on forever. No, totally. You're absolutely right. I'm not saying this is some sort of new phenomenon. Just keeping up with what's happening out there. Okay, this is an unfortunate situation from 11 hours ago. I don't even have this stuff like really organized. Okay, from 11 hours ago, where 11 are reported dead after Cyclone Gamain makes landfall in Madagascar. This is unfortunate. Good God. Open the door. Actually, no, you don't have to probably open the door. It seems like water is just completely... Oh my God. That's a doorway right there, isn't it? It is. Shit. Okay. So this is from this next thing. man, by the way, the east coast of Africa has been getting messed up bad by rain and water, like floods, lately. Who else did we look at recently? Was it Namibia that flooded? I can't remember. That's the second one we've seen in like a week. This is from 13 hours ago. Situation in Haiti is quote-unquote cataclysmic, according to the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights. This is from 13 hours ago. Wait. Oh no, there was no sound in that video. Nope, there. It was completely silent. That was not you losing your mind, Mo. Nope.
It is shocking that despite the horrific situation on the ground, arms keep still pouring in. I appeal for a more effective implementation of the arms embargo. I reiterate the need for an urgent deployment of a multinational security support mission.
Boo. No multinational security support mission. We all know what that's going to lead to, right? Multinational security support mission, in my estimation, is going to lead to most likely a new puppet government being installed rather than having, I don't know, a democracy.
To help the national police to stop violence. I also want to stress that enhancing security alone will not be...
Where was it? No, it was in Madagascar. Madagascar. That's why I was talking about the east coast of Africa. There was a cyclone? Yeah, a cyclone that went through, which is a hurricane, but in the Indian Ocean, I think. I'm sorry, I'm not a meteorologist, chat.
Conducive to long-lasting solutions, and I call for concurrent policies aiming at the restoration of the rule of law. Accountability is paramount if we aim to restore public trust in the rule of law and the state institutions.
Yeah, what does that mean? Restoring the rule of law? I mean, restoring Western hegemony in the region? Because that's not really what the people of Haiti want. Now, people of Haiti also want the streets to not be burning, and they would like some food. So that situation definitely needs to be solved. But this situation, but the whole Haiti fiasco needs to be solved in a democratic way that involves the Haitian people and doesn't otherize them in a sort of fucked way and framing. This next one is also equally fucked and difficult to watch. This is from 13 hours ago. Channel 4 News. War and hunger force hundreds of thousands to flee Sudan.
Every day they come. Sometimes just a couple of hundred, usually twice that number. Because across the border in Sudan, life is unbearable. War is leading to famine. This family just arrived. Fatia tells us that the Friday before Ramadan, their house and everything around was burnt by armed men. Britain's Minister for Development in Africa is here to see for himself what threatens to become the worst humanitarian crisis in the world.
Well, did she leave because there were soldiers in her village, or did she leave because they haven't got anything to eat?
السبب اللي خلاكي تطلعي إنه وجود العساكر اللي موجودين في المنطقة، ولا أنت عشان ما في حاجة هناك ممكن تأكلوها أو الحاجات ما متوفرة؟
ما في حاجة ناكلها.
Because there is nothing to eat.
Nothing to eat?
Yeah.
All those who arrive are registered. 80% of women and children, most from the Marsalit tribe. The men have been killed or are in hiding because the Rapid Support Forces, the RSF, one of the parties to this war, are targeting them.
This is horrifying. It's just terrible.
Ethnic cleansing to force them to flee to Chad. Some of the people we've met today are fleeing the war, atrocities, their houses being burnt down. But most say they're coming here because they're hungry. There's no food in Sudan, and that is caused by the war. They can't plant, the markets don't work, there's no food coming in. It's increasingly difficult for the aid agencies to get food across the border, and the armed groups are stealing it. At the World Food Programme distribution point in Adre camp, families receive oil, millet, beans, soap, and other necessities for a life barely above the minimum for survival.
Well, we are announcing today effectively a doubling of the programme for Sudan. We've put a lot of money into something like 15 million into helping in a number of different ways here, particularly with malnutrition inside Chad. And the extra money we're putting on the table for Sudan will make a big difference.
This level of desperation is hard to witness.
This is a place of great hope here for these people, but it is also a reflection of extraordinary suffering.
And without a ceasefire, the impact of aid will be limited. Iran has reportedly given drones to the Sudan armed forces, and a recent UN report says the United Arab Emirates is flying arms to the RSF from here in Chad, which both governments deny.
I raised this directly with the president of Chad yesterday, and we urge everyone not to supply these two armies, which are doing such terrible damage to human rights and to the lives of the millions of people who are desperate now in Sudan.
You say we urge, but the United Arab Emirates is one of the major armors of one of the factions, and the United Arab Emirates is one of Britain's closest allies.
Well, we have a multiple-faced relationship with the UAE. I can tell you.
Okay, I think we got. It's a fucking disaster right now in Sudan. Hopefully, that situation can be stopped. However, it involves a great number of both Western and Eastern powers kind of jockeying for position around multiple militarized factions. And it's a shit show. And, hopefully the UN can get in there, give people aid. But you heard it directly from them that aid was getting stolen by military groups. And it is fucking crazy that you can be okay with doing that sort of a thing. Just because if you're a military fighting to own an area, you would think you'd want some people to be there, but I guess no, fuck it. No, fuck it. People just completely terrible, and a lot of people seem to be fine with doing things like this. Ah, God.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
What's next? Okay, this is from a day ago. Doctors visiting Gaza, stunned by war's toll on Palestinian children. AP. An international team of doctors visiting hospitals in central Gaza says they're overwhelmed by casualties from Israel's shelling and bombardment. The team has been working at Al-Aqsa Martyrs Hospital since mid-March. Their visit gave them a first-hand look at Gaza's decimation, I think they said. The team was set up by the relief group's International Rescue Committee and Aid for Palestinians. These medical teams are working hard. You find out that most of them have lost their children, wives, or parents, but despite this, they are carrying on with their work. This shows the psychological pressure that they are facing. The nearly 6-month Israeli assault on Gaza has left only around a dozen of Gaza's hospitals even partially functioning. The rest have run out of fuel and medicine, were surrounded by Israeli troops, or were damaged in the fighting.
Our team has been doing this for 5 days. We're exhausted. I can't imagine what the Gazan team, who's been here for 162 days, doing this 24/7, 162 days without resources, is dealing with. You asked me whether they had the resources to deal with these cases. No.
Oh shit, I just realized I had the volume down. Hold on, I'm gonna go back. I don't know if you all heard that, but I had the volume way down. So let's listen to her again. So sorry, chat.
People are tired. Our team has been doing this for 5 days. We're exhausted. I can't imagine what the Gazan team, who's been here for 162 days, doing this 24/7, 162 days without resources, is dealing with. You asked me whether they had the resources to deal with these cases. No.
Al-Aqsa Martyrs, which normally has a capacity of around 160 beds, is now struggling with some 800 patients, according to staff. That math isn't mathing. Israel's offensive in Gaza has killed some 32,000 Palestinians and wounded nearly 75,000 in the territory of nearly 2 million people. Okay.
Joining me now in the studio is Mustafa Barghouti.
Oh yeah, we got Mustafa Barghouti up next here on Al Jazeera, discussing the the ICJ order for Israel to take action to address famine in Gaza.
Joining me now.
Maybe this will restore some sanity.
Secretary General of the Palestinian National Initiative Party. Thank you for joining the program, Mr. Barghouti. So I wanted to start by getting your reaction to these new measures that have been introduced by the ICJ in order to get more food aid into Gaza. Do you think it's going to make a difference to the situation on the ground?
It's an important step, and it should be followed actually by another resolution to enforce complete and total cessation of all military activities by Israel, which means an order from the International Court of Justice demanding immediate ceasefire in the language that they usually use, which is cessation of military activities or hostile activities. I think this is now very important to achieve, and I think this would have an impact at many levels, but it is clear that Israel will not stop unless sanctions are imposed on Israel, unless punitive acts are taken to force Israel to stop. Netanyahu wants to proceed with this terrible war, and he is now even promising even a much bigger massacre by attacking Rafah.
The reaction from the international community to the last
Volume up. Okay. Oh, yeah, you're totally right. Oh, son of a bitch. Look what I've done. Look what I've done. Sorry.
Immediate ceasefire in the language that they usually use, which is cessation of military activities or hostile activities. I think this is now very important to achieve, and I think this would have an impact at many levels, but it is clear that Israel will not stop unless sanctions are imposed on Israel, unless punitive acts are taken to force Israel to stop. Netanyahu wants to proceed with this terrible war.
Massacre.
And he is now even promising even a much bigger massacre by attacking Rafah.
Can you hear it better now? Is it better? Have I improved it? I have the full volume over here. I don't know if I can improve it at all. If it's better, let me know. I'm sorry. It was definitely lower because of the fact that I was reading subtitles. I try to. I don't always do it well, but I try to lower it and like raise it artificially in the stream mix so that you can hear me better than the sounds going on behind the subtitles. But if it okay, it's better. Okay.
The reaction from the international community to the last ICJ ruling, which was back in January, was muted. In fact, the day after the focus of many countries was on pulling funding out of UNRWA. Are you disappointed in how the international community has reacted to the events in Gaza?
Of course we are disappointed, especially by Western governments, and especially by the United States, which, by the way, tried to even mute the most recent decision of the Security Council resolution by creating a debate about whether it is obligatory or not obligatory. I mean, and this was not part of any discussion. Of course, any Security Council resolution obliges all members of the United Nations to implement it or to respect it. The United States is playing a game here and continues to support Israel.
Yep.
And of course, that has created a very dangerous moment at the international community. This particular aggression by Israel, this particular genocide that Israel is practicing, and the fact that so many Western governments are providing protection to Israel, allowing it to continue, is going to disturb the whole international order. It simply sends a message to the world that there is no more international law. That's very dangerous.
We did finally see a vote pass at the UNSC calling for a ceasefire. Does that give you hope, though, that something has changed, just a little bit, that the international community...
Yeah, that is a good philosophy. It's a good philosophy for sure.
...is now finally starting to wake up to what is happening in Gaza?
Yes, but what gives me hope, really, are not these governments that have been so lazy and so much delaying the decisions they should have made 5 months ago. But what gives me hope is the people of the world, the people who forced many governments to change their position, the public pressure that made Canadian government suspend and stop supplying Israel with military equipment, the same public pressure that is taking place now in Britain, in France, in Europe, everywhere in the world. And that public pressure, in my opinion, will lead now to wide range of sanctions and punitive acts against.
Man, if it's going to cost $500 billion to rebuild Ukraine, what's it going to cost to rebuild Gaza? Huh?
Acts against Israel, sanctions and boycott. This is what worked in the case of South Africa. And this is what would work in the case of Israel. And look at what's happening there. They are having some sort of collapse internally. They are even unable to make decisions because the world is fed up with their crimes.
You are from Gaza originally. I believe you've already lost some family during the course of this.
I'm from West Bank, not from Gaza. But
you have family in Gaza.
Apologies.
How do you feel when you look at the images on the screen of the children that are now starving and the suffering that people have endured? How do you look at it all and take it in?
It's beyond shock. This morning I was talking to my colleagues. We have 32 medical teams working there. One of them was describing to me what happened. They've been besieged for 11 days by Israeli tanks. His brother was killed. The children of his brother were killed. He had to take a big risk by running away from his house, and he told his children, either we will die while we are staying here because they are bombarding us, or let's take the risk and run away. He told me horrible stories about families being burned inside houses, completely burned and killed. Families totally eliminated. 23, one family lost 23, another one 16, another. The whole place around Shifa Hospital is completely destroyed now. It's very huge pain because the people who are dying are people I know. Some of them are people I've worked with. Some of them have done wonderful work in their life to help their own people. And now they're dying. And what hurt me most is that I was talking to one journalist whom I didn't speak to for about since the beginning of the war. And I was happy to hear his voice. And I asked him, how are you doing? And he said, you know, I'm okay. I lost my wife and my child. And I said, oh, I'm very sorry. I feel very sorry for that. He said, it's all right. Many others have lost more people. It's really so painful.
It is so fucking surreal. Imagine losing your significant other and your child if you have one. If not, try and imagine some sort of hypothetical in which you do. You lose them to bombs or whatever method Israel imposed on these people. And then imagine me like, nah, it's not that big of a deal because my buddy over here lost 17 people or whatever, right? It just feels very Twilight Zone. Okay. No, okay. This is just the global news piece from 6 hours ago, discussing the same thing that they did. This is Gaza Crisis, International Court of Justice.
This tiny page
orders Israel to stop the famine.
In a northern Gaza hospital, we got used to receiving such cases in large numbers every day. We don't know how many children there are like this one. We do know aid groups such as the UN's World Food Program have spent months warning of a spiraling crisis.
We desperately need the conditions to get access every day to be flooding this area with food assistance.
The International Court of Justice issued an updated order to Israel Thursday, calling on it to fully cooperate with the UN without delay to allow for basic services and humanitarian assistance.
Oh, yes. No, Sticks. I know it's you. I saw your message before. Did I call you Shade Dragon? That's just because your name is... It's peering a Shade Dragon, so...
To get to those in need and for more land crossings to be used to access Gaza.
I've met so many people who are angry and tired and despairing because their children go to sleep every night hungry.
Israel says it does not prevent aid from entering Gaza and emphasizes its military actions are in self-defense, striking what it calls terror cells in Lebanon in an exchange of it.
So starving millions of people is a self-defense measure. Who knew? Who fucking knew?
Attacks with the militant group Hezbollah, while air and ground operations against Hamas in Gaza are relentless.
We have to win. There is no substitute for victory.
Victory at all costs is straining relations between Israel and the U.S. America has warned against large ground operations in Rafah and has repeatedly urged Israel to do more to protect.
Well, America needs to stop urging and demanding. Start demanding. Okay, chat. Well... I think, yeah, that appears to be all I've got prepared at all. And that wasn't really prepared, to be perfectly honest. I felt minorly unprepared while doing that, but I hope you all enjoyed this very impromptu, super secret late night after hours chill stream. Now, of course, I couldn't end the stream without doing this right here. Galactic shout out. Hold on, I gotta move my face somewhere where it's not in the way. There it is. Galactic patrons. Hold on, go back. Got Gabby, Aaron W, the Anti-Corporatist, Goth Dogs, and Pitchforks Dragon. Thanks to all these Galactic producers who help make this show possible. By the way, if you want to become more galactic, well, there's one very easy way to do that. By clicking this Patreon link and pledging a few dollars per month to the Galactic News Network. Anyway, chat, it was great seeing you all. You stay classy, Galactic Stream Nation.
Aren't I a good guy?
Not gonna do it. Wouldn't be prudent at this juncture.